There we go. I don't know. I'll be watching. Why do you hope Sweden wins? Why? Why? Aim. Ow. I'm going live. I think my plan is, I should have set it up before. Actually, I was in a discussion. Spoiler, she will lose. I was in a discussion with Sarah J. Warren. And hopefully bringing her back. I'd like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Let's stream today, ladies and gentlemen. I have to set some shit up, though. Hang on a bit. What do we need for this? We need this. We need this. We need this. There's one thing we need. We got this. And that's not going to work. That's one thing. We need the PlayStation 3. Let's hook that up. What do you think? Blair might be doing the weekly show that we're doing. The weekly news video show. Let's hook this up. Nice. Let's see if we get this sucker to work. Holy shit. Oh, wow, it's not... Okay. What do you say, homeboys? Homegirls? Let's start this little fun... This little funsy show. That's right. A little Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I have to build... I think I have to get all the guys back. Which is important. I gotta get all my dudes back. To start from the beginning. I told you it works. What do you think? Think of that. The only thing is, the downside, although it's not too bad with a fighting game, is, yeah, PS3 still got a lot of good stuff that you can't get, and this is one of them. The only thing is I have to use the projector. Still looks pretty good, though. I wouldn't want to play a first-person shooter like this. Why is it single player? I fucking unlocked this bitch. This is the demo version. Whoa. Let's get this right. Comcom demo version. The fuck? Oh, I don't want to do this. I have the fucking thing. Because in the old days, what you did was, save auto upload. Why can I, am I like not signed in or something? Am I like not signed in? What the fuck? In the old days, you get a demo, and then what would happen was, you'd get a demo and then you'd get the unlock. You know what I mean? No, I don't think it's it at all. It's a demo. So I gotta like it hasn't been unlocked. I don't know why. I'm not terribly sure. You know. I don't get it. Let's see. I think I have to go to shit that I used to buy. Or maybe I could come up here. Boy, it runs a lot slower than PS4, I'll tell you that. Okay. M. A. R. Was it V? V. E. L. Space. Well, no, actually. All right, let's go. It's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Game. Marvel Lego Avengers. This is a lot of shit. Marvel Zen Pinball. Whoa. Did they take this off? Did they, like, completely release support of it? Let's try that then. All right, I have an idea. Stupid. Because I had the unlock. I've had this game. It's like one of the best versions. A. P. And I just went the Atoki Omni Marvel vs. SNK. Capcom versus SNK. Let's scroll down here a bit. Capcom Arcade. Capcom Arcade Classics. Jesus Christ. I wonder if they release support of it or something like that. You can't play. No, but that's. I bought the fucking thing. I don't get it. You're selling your sister? This happened to you too. Yeah, I can't. Like, it's. Did you ever get it to work again? Because I have the key somewhere. It's ridiculous. And then I have to go on and shit that I bought. View downloads, my videos. This is bullshit. And I got this stupid thing to work. Maybe they deleted it from the store. I mean, there was like two. This is gonna take a minute. Yeah, it's gone, man. There's some legal bullshit between the companies. I own the thing, and it's even in my purchase history. Oh, dude, I literally went to so much trouble to get PlayStation 3 to work just for this reason. Legal bullshit, dude. The game has been bought. I bought it fucking 7 years ago. Hold on a second. I got it. I'm sorry, man. I got it. Not that I don't believe you, Tonka. It's just, play Halo. Oh, well, I don't have it set up. And I'm not really a good, transaction, man. System expiration? I mean, I thought, like, that's why they didn't put out any new games. I don't think it could affect the old one. Oh. You have no idea how disappointed I am if that's the case. Players met block. I don't want block list. What about my purchases and shit? Internet browser. Yeah, because I did. What I did that before. Yeah. Auto. Man, I think you're right, dude. Is there any update here? Dude, check this out. Hold on. On. Okay, hold on a second. Latest versions installed. Yeah, it just says demo still. It blew me away too. I think they took it out of the game library too. It looks like they did. They let me re-download it when I went to like a purchase history, but just the demo. It's like the half the reason I got this fucking local match, friendly match, offline. Oh, this sucks so bad. Did it let you pick any guy you want? Probably not. You probably can't even unlock characters anymore. A join game, right? Oh, this for, yeah, it can only be no internet. Dude, you have no idea how pissed off I am about this. I'm actually really upset. I wanted this so bad. I went to so much trouble to shit. Do you have how hard it is to stream like with? Well, it's not streaming 1080p for you, but it is for me. Do you have any fucking idea how difficult this shit is? Ugh. Cunt. It has like 6 characters. You know, and then the funny thing is there's no real emulation for it online either. And it's one of the reasons that I got the PlayStation to begin with, and it's one of the reasons I went back downstairs to fuck with it. I do want to check my purchase history before account management. Let's see, go to downloads or something. Billing information, redeem codes, transaction management, system activation, privacy setting, account information, billing. I know, because I went down to scroll. Like, this is going to take me a minute, guys. I don't know where to go. That's not it. You have no idea how difficult this fucking shit is. Yeah, I paid for this. It's not like they can take it away. I mean, I can understand they don't want an upgrade on Steam or PlayStation 4. I fucking bought this. They stole money from me. I hate to sound like such a fucking soy boy about a fucking video game, but it pisses me off. I paid for this. This is mine. What the fuck? I know I looked. There's a way to check what you bought before. What's new? Trophy collection, PlayStation Store. I know there's a way to see past purchases. They just took it. They took it away from me. I bought it. They took it away. Know it. Marvel vs. Capcom's on MAME, and it's a great version. And it's a real pain in the ass to click to play multiplayer. But fucking shit, man. But this is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Why can't they fucking straighten this shit out? Jesus, they got a Tekken verse. It was a bad game, but let's see, cart. I know I have nothing in my cart. No. I know there's a way to do this. View downloads. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I think I got it. All right. This is going to take a second because you can't, there's no way to sort through this. Pilot. I don't even know what half this shit is. That's the download time, I guess. Mickey Rooney cries no more. The fuck? Somebody must have stolen my credit card. Devil in a garbage bag. The fuck is this shit? Oh, that must have been stuff for Guitar Hero. Yeah, but they have each individual download. I was into that. But this is like when I was with my ex-wife and shit. I just bought a brand new one. This is so stupid. Chasing Ghosts. It's a really good movie if anyone wants to see it. These are all movies. I want games. View downloads. My videos. I want my fucking... This sucks, dude. This is... Oh, okay, there's games. It's all in one. So I'm going to have to just suffer through this bullshit. This is the newer PlayStation 2, or the fastest one before they discontinued it. NHL 14 download, so you give you an idea how long that was. NHL Game Center. Street Fighter Online. I do have that. I do have Third Strike. And I think this Third Strike might be the better of the two versions, which I might end up playing and hanging out with you guys. I'm really sorry I'm putting you all through this. I didn't know I had this for that. I didn't know I had a Championships Edition. I thought I only had that for Xbox. That's a fun game. Pressure Luck. That's fun. You guys are old enough to remember. None of you guys are probably old enough to remember that game show. It's a fucking blast. Yeah, this is all my Guitar Hero shit. Mag, I had a lot of fun playing that, but it just didn't do very well. Under Pressure. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. 2009. I thought that was only for... But isn't that only for that stupid... something tells me that's only for something else. I don't think I ever remember playing Alpha on this thing because it was only on the handheld, which is a piece of shit. I'm watching... what else, Gary? I'm watching the England game. That's like it... Oh, God, it is. I guess I'll watch it here. I already started streaming. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 demo. Here it is. Marvel vs. Capcom full game. Unlock. That's what you used to buy the demo and then you would unlock it. Downloading. Please wait. Install complete. I don't even... Install completed. 6 kilobytes, so it needs to be unlocked. Purchased. 2000, fucking almost 10 years ago.
I hate taking L's!
Dude, XD so much. What is this old antique you're using? God, it is old. Still seems new to me. It's still 3D graphics. Still in 1080p. All right, let's go check it out. Go Tonka. Wish me luck. Still says a demo. Nothing else to unlock in here. Check for update. Latest version installed. I have a feel because I think I did this already, dude. No, it's just an unlock. Yeah, that was quick. No, see, it's just the way I remember it was just an unlock. Oh, fuck! Probably can't get the other Capcom shit too. I bet. Wait a minute. That's because it's not a. This works. No, it's probably goddamn Marvel. Uninstall the. No, why would that work? And then it would do it automatically or something? I'm doing it, dude. I really, really want to get this to work. Justin Wong told me right now, like, that this wouldn't work. Oh, shit. What happened here? Out of range. Ugh, I know why. Favor me. I know how to fix that. All right. You have to constantly, because there's a lot of games in 720p. Yeah, there's a lot of games in 720p. Now it really looks like shit on my screen. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna try that. Nah, I'll check it later. You know what? Nah, it's time to play. Time to do something. Reinstall the demo. All right, we're not done. We're not done then. We'll get back. Warhawk still works, by the way, kiddos. It's a PSP game. I knew it. Can't play PSP games on here. All right, we'll go back. There we go. Get Tonka on the stream. Does Tonka want to come on the stream? I'll talk to Tonka if he wants. I'm gonna bullshit. I don't know if he's busy or not, man. It's early over there, isn't it? Oh, no, it's like... Fox ruined my game screen. All right, you guys gonna help me with this? You said you see something? He only works with the chart. I never liked PSP. I never liked it. That's trash. I don't know if the Vita was any better. I don't like handhelds. It's not my bag. I think it's kind of weird walking around like... That's just me. I'm gonna have to go through all that bullshit again. So now what do I do? Let's get down there. You want to come in? It's bullshit. Be first time. I got questions about the new Kumite. Bullshit about that. We're gonna get this. I'm gonna get this right. You just go to wait in a call. I'll pull you if you want. If you don't get time, I get it. I'm gonna be busy doing this bullshit. Did I pass it? Yeah, I did. All right. Here's the deal. Where's yeah, grab a drink. I might even go get a cigarette, to be honest with you. Just for one. The disc version. There is no disc version. All right. The solution on this is to reinstall the demo. Okay. So, bro, do I reinstall the demo and then run the click and then run this thing, or do I run that thing first? Yeah. I don't know what to do. That's the thing.
I hate taking L's.
Me too. Oh, dude, XD. The demo is a full game, I think. You also need the unlock. I have them both. Oh, shit. This got too big real quick. Delete the demo and then install it. Okay. And then do the unlock. Delete the demo and then install it. Do I run it right away or do I run the fix? Tonka, give me, my wife's calling me. Give me like 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Tonka. I apologize. I'm going to get a drink too because it's starting to fucking get hot. And I'll pull you right up. No, upon me. All right, let's pull Tonka. This is a long time coming. Tonka, this is a long time coming, I suppose.
I'm thinking it is.
How you been, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Hey, I want to ask you questions about the new Kumite, if you don't mind.
All cool, all cool. But I said an article that will. It's a sad story about what happened to the Marvel versus Capcom game. I sent an article to you
So this
that'll
is-
explain all of it.
This isn't gonna work, is it?
It's a lot of legal, miserable shit.
Oh, shit. All right.
Blame Fox.
They're saying there's a way around this. They're saying there's a way around this. So they said delete the demo and then install it. And then do I do the unlock? I'll try to do that again. And
If that works, that I will remember how you do it because I
Yeah.
really did like this game.
this is
lot.
a fantastic game. I mean, it was already this game was this came out. This game was put on for PlayStation 3. It was pushing 7-8 years at that point anyway. But there was
No,
always,
it's a classic.
Oh, it is. It's one. It's better than the first one. Hey, kiddo, how you doing?
All of my friends call it unbalanced garbage, but I love it.
It's well, that means your friends are probably really good. I'm not really good, so I mean,
I'd rather just have fun with games.
yeah. Those guys are talking about competitive gaming is what they're talking about. I mean, look, if you both suck, it doesn't matter how unbalanced it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So I haven't been listening. I've been busy. I've been running around, but I did listen to the first sort of reissues of Kumite, and I saw Ian on there, and I actually thought it was pretty good. It's pretty interesting, and a lot of I stand with the Red Man. Are things improving over there, or is it since the sort of the crack up of where it really was like a split of the whole community? And are you happy with the direction it's going?
I'm kind of like winging it. I was over on Vamp's channel because my channel had a strike on it, which is what sent it on to where it goes to all the places that it went.
Did you talk to Ben
But
about the strike?
the Trusted Flagger,
Yeah.
I have. He said that he couldn't remove it, but like I had a video up of what was actually struck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was like 4 memes and like 10 seconds of video or music that was from like Bad Company or something. Failure had accidentally started streaming, and that was the stream that got struck. So there's like 3 memes and then that, and that's the strike that remained.
What was the you're probably already 2 months deep with that strike though. You'll probably be getting it back pretty soon, correct?
Oh, it was supposed to already be back, but now my channel shows that I don't have a strike, but I still also don't have streaming.
Have you talked to Ben about that?
Sent word that way. Let him know about it.
Well, I could maybe help. Usually, if you get him, let's see, 4 o'clock my time. That's when he usually wakes up, or at least he's active. I would say that's probably 10 Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, he's usually pretty active. You get him because
It's only been like a few days. I try to be really patient about it.
Well,
a lot of
with him-
people, they sound alarm bells.
Yeah, I think you're right with Ben, and I mean, if he could do something for you 9 times out of 10, he's going to. The only time that he doesn't is when he actually can't. And a few, I know one of. Okay, the latest update for this software has been found. Sign into the software. Okay.
That's a new screen.
That's a new screen. Yeah, there we go. Oh God, you have no idea. I mean, you have no idea like what trouble I went. I mean, I feel like such a dork, but I like the fucking game, man.
No, I'll do the same thing if I like something.
Yeah.
Go through a lot of troubles.
Okay.
Jump through the hoops.
Downloading the available data. This is a brand new screen. Are you happy now, or is like things that cooled off? I mean,
Well, it's a lot less manufactured. There was always a lot of people who would just try to just manufacture up a reason to end up on the show. Since I went over to a smaller channel, less people kind of know that it's there. There's still a bunch of people who know it's there, but there's kind of less people, so it's a lot easier to just navigate away from something that is very obviously nonsense.
yeah, I got you.
That always irritated me.
Are you like because you are in a similar position that I was in 2016. You're gonna have to.
I've heard that.
Yeah. You get a situation where you have to rebuild, and it's not easy, and you have to be patient, and it takes a shit ton of time. Are you? I guess I don't really want to question it. I have a suggestion. Please, the core audience that keep coming back, they're the ones that stuck through you through all the bullshit, right? Keep pleasing them, and you'll find something over time, organic, new memes, new bits, new stuff like that. to bring them eventually, but it's going to take time, and you got to be famous. And it just, I know kind of how you feel, because you guys, the whole community was on a level, right? And then when it split, after what I call the circular firing squad on Mediger's channel, it's just going to take some time. I mean, if you're good enough, and you could talk, I mean, it should work itself out. I mean, it just depends on how. And you don't do this for a living anyway, right?
No.
No.
All the money that comes into me, I end up giving away.
Oh, really? So you must have a good job.
Well, I have a weird thing about the internet. I don't know if I have the right or wrong perception of it, but I just always look at it as this is what's like inside of the screen, and no matter what I do inside of said screen, this is not like necessarily real life. This does not need to impact anything in real life. But if I can help somebody else with it, that's different.
Tonka,
holy shit,
it works. Yeah. I'm just gonna go to arcade mode right now. It works.
Do it.
Do it. So all you gotta do is you just gotta do exactly what. Oh, I got all my characters. I don't have to unlock anybody.
Yeah, you won't have to unlock anybody. It'll have all your stuff there.
Oh yeah, it does. It probably has all
that
my
actually worked around.
Oh God. Well, what I was hoping for was the article you were sending me had more to do with like why they haven't released a new version with the new systems rather than affecting the old ones, because like I bought this is mine. You know, it's not theirs. It's mine.
That's one of the huge pains about this whole digital marketplace thing.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
The product can just go right up into the ether. It doesn't have to exist.
But I don't know. I think that should be illegal. I pay for something. I
think that should be extrememely illegal.
Yeah, no kidding.
But then, when you get to that, it gets to a point to where you would have to force some people to keep their servers up for certain games.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess so. But I tell you something. Gamers are so nuts that you probably don't need to. Oh shit, I'm getting my ass kicked. Yeah, I forgot. What the fuck, dude? I forgot how to play this game. Maybe not. Wow, I'm actually all of a sudden I'm good. No, it's like and I get that part of it, forcing the servers and stuff like that. But I mean, they either got to let you know that's going to be the case, like this is only going to last a couple years, or let the fans come up with their own servers and shit. I mean, it's more than possible,
Well, that's where it comes up, like all those gaming laws that everybody's starting to see now with like the loot boxes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm not like, I understand the principles of those gaming laws, but I'm not necessarily for all of them, because
I'm not either.
No, because I think what's happened is one of these things where everybody's pissed off about DLC, and I get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, what a game like Overwatch does, it's not pay to win. It's not truly gambling. If you're gonna call all this shit gambling just because you're pissed off at EA, you're gonna be in a lot of. It's gonna bring on shit that you're not, that you don't want. Like, you can't have any kind of loot boxes whatsoever. I just don't like the loot boxes that force me to buy them. You know what I mean?
I'm not being a fan of like a play mechanic or something like that, or not wanting to buy loot boxes DLC. I don't think that necessarily kills off a game. Yeah. I don't think it can be like a huge pain, but some people act like it's the end all be all. It just completely ruins an entire experience.
I don't like it ruins experience for me when it forces me to, like, I paid $60, right? And now I gotta put another $60 down to stay competitive, or just stay in the game. I do got a problem with that. Where like if it's like a Fortnite situation, or it's an Overwatch situation where it's just cosmetic, which still makes a shit ton of money, then I have no problem with it whatsoever. And to make stuff like that illegal would just be bad move,
What ends up being more egregious to you, the DLC of today, kind of like you just stated off, or the thing they were doing, I want to say about 2010 when you got this game, where there was the online pass.
Season pass is the worst.
Oh, not season pass, online pass. I'm talking about where they would like lock off a bunch of the game because they were for people reselling.
Yeah.
Like no true ending and shit like that.
I honestly, because I'm just getting back into this shit. I think that I don't mind paying for nicks and knacks. I don't mind for paying for stuff. But if they continue to charge me over and over again after I made the initial purchase, I wouldn't necessarily mind the government stepping in under those circumstances. But it's got to be. But when you get the government involved, and you're like, oh yeah, they end up doing shit to make it worse.
There's no turning back.
Yeah, they do shit to make it worse, and you know what? I almost like the old system better because now I can't get stuff because it's against the law. You know, I don't know. I don't even know what to think. I don't even know what to.
Well, there was a much better way of doing things, and it feels like they used to do it. Like DLC used to be called expansion packs.
Yeah.
Like an expansion pack, you would feel like you got your money's worth out of it. It didn't feel like you screwed up when you got it.
It used to be also called free. I mean, when I was a Quake player, you know, I mean, everything was free.
Well, you would unlock stuff with your progression and how much you put into the game. You put it into the game gives you something back. It's a fair exchange, it felt like.
I would say so. I didn't know you were so hardcore.
Oh, I had to play a bunch of games when I was younger. There were just a lot of rain would happen, so what are you going to do inside? You want to stay quiet and out of the way of stuff, so you play some games when you're younger. And then when I started traveling around, I had a bunch of friends who would bust out their laptops and have like 9 controllers hooked to it in a van.
I want to switch topics for a minute. Wrestling.
All right.
I want to know where you're at with modern wrestling. I mean, I'm about ready to cancel. I cancel the network usually around this time of year, and I wait for WrestleMania, and I buy it again. Where are you at with the state of wrestling?
Failure bothers me with it most of the time. He's usually the one who's like, "Hey, watch this on the network with me." He's always gonna have the network. Yeah. Even he's one of those. He's always gonna have the network. He'll always have Netflix. He's that guy.
Oh yeah.
I've never actually got the network. Mm-hmm. I've had girlfriends who had the network, and they would be like, "Let's watch this." Okay. I watch it, and I like guys like Cesaro, but liking someone like Cesaro is a huge pain because they don't do anything.
They're never going to push him. They're never going to push him, even though he's like...
Never.
There's a match over here I saw with him and, Bryan Danielson over in the German league, and it was just like, I mean, they were doing stuff that some of the stuff I've never seen, and I was a pretty big wrestling fan at the time, you know, like some of the moves and the whole, so even just the holds were more interesting, stuff they would never allow in the WWE. And I was watching Cesaro, who was going by a different name, and Daniel Bryan was going by a different name. Yeah, and they were wrestling here in Germany. Germany's got the thing with the way the Germans do it is their sports entertainment aspect kind of sucks, and it's kind of corny you probably laugh at it. But you
guys have rounds, right?
I don't know if they have rounds, but they demand everybody be technically solid. Yeah, there's very few guys that are overweight. You know, everything has to be done. You have to be. Your act matters less than if you're.
Everything has to look. Yeah, everything has to look like you're doing a straight up wrestling match.
Yes,
almost 1970.
Yes. It's not as bad as like old New Japan. You know, it's not like that, but like where it's like they really don't give a shit about the angles whatsoever, or like a ROH or something like that. But I mean, they do an act, but it's just kind of corny by North American standards. And but it's still pretty. It's really great. I mean, they had these guys in there well before they got big, and some of it's great.
Oh yeah. A lot of these guys who are really huge stars in WWE now, they've been big stars all over the world for the preceding decade. Just all of a sudden WWE was like, we're not going to hire Gene Snitsky's anymore. We're going to start hiring people who people actually like.
So you're really basically, so you're more of you watching the independents, you're not watching WWE at all?
I've watched a lot more WWE in the past like 2 or 3 months, just being shown random stuff by people, and people wanted me to look at what's going on. There's a lot of the people who everyone likes, they're in WWE for once, which is kind of strange. I used to be more into the independents because I couldn't get down on that 2000s product they had.
Oh, that was awful.
It was not for me.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? One of the things, like, they had Old Jersey Pro where I grew up, and I knew a guy that was in there. I mean, he was almost in constant pain, when he went to his regular job. What was that experience like? And is there any? Because you're still pretty young. Would you ever think about getting back in the ring for a charity event or something like that?
I just did something really stupid like 2 days ago, and got talked into kind of working with a few people on like booking some wrestling events. So it'll probably only be like 20 minutes before I get talked into wrestling again.
Oh, okay. So you are ready to go back.
Well, I say that I don't want to, but it's wrestling, and you always end up doing it. It's a weird thing. It's like a weird addiction. But like as far as like the pain and stuff like that goes, I've never taken a pain pill. Even
really?
when I broke stuff, I refused to do it because very early on, very, very early on, going around to these shows, you'll see the guys and say, "Oh shit, there's well, like I was about to name it. I don't want to like name
Yeah,
names because
yeah,
what
I
I'm
got
about
you.
to say
I
after.
got you. I got
But
you.
big star that huge tag team, big star in the
Uh-huh.
80s. I was a huge fan of them.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, well, there he is, but he can barely walk. And then before he can go out to the ring, like he just like grabs a handful of pills and throws. I was like, okay, I'm never gonna be that. I
Yeah.
can't. I don't want to do that. I don't ever want to do that. And I don't care how much something hurts, how much something aches. I don't want to start taking pills now because I am horrified at how good that might end up feeling.
I bet. So you did that. I got another question. Who taught you how to sell? That's one thing I
Taught
watched.
me how to sell?
Yes, your selling's first class. I thought. I watched your
appreciate
matches.
that.
No, I thought your selling is first class. So who taught you that? Because when you get hurt, you look like you're getting hurt, even though I don't know if you're getting hurt or not. And I think that's probably the part. Like, is there some kind of trick to that, or is it just the up to the individual?
But I got a lot of it from, like, I would watch guys like Ricky Steamboat. He always was really good at, like, if you hit him in the leg, it looks like, oh God, you screwed his leg up, and like he'll drag his leg around and stuff. And like he was one of the few guys who did stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to a lot of seminars with like the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express,
Oh, wow.
and Ricky Morton, another dude who was like really good at selling. He would always just tell people to sell more, sell more.
Uh-huh.
And I picked up a little bit of this stuff from like Jeff Hardy, because every time he does anything, anytime you do anything to him, it looks like a car crash. Like he looks like he's being flung out of an automobile or something. He has great ragdoll physics, as some people say.
Yes.
So I try to like steal like the ragdoll physic thing, but still kind of like the Ricky Steamboat thing where you're actually on the right body part, because a lot of guys screw up and they don't do the right body part.
Yeah,
But, like I try to, there's a lot of stuff you like try to take in at once and like make your own kind of way of doing it.
I don't think you see that as much as you used to. I don't think you see great. You got, what's his name, Ziggler. I mean, he's a great seller, but some of it's really over the top.
He's too fast.
I think that's it. But, sometimes he sells something, and I'm like, oh, my God, he just got destroyed. I can't really tell. Other times it's like, all right, he's showing us how good he sells, which is not as much fun.
I've always felt bad for that guy, because he came in, and from like what I remember, he came in while all these really not so good wrestlers were around, and he was probably the best wrestler out of all of them, and everybody's like, that's the best guy around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they start hiring some of the best in the world wrestlers, and they just ignored him.
It's
just they all went past
are you
him.
talking about like Kevin Owens or something like that, or Sami Zayn, or
Well, yeah, guys who would wrestle the style that when Dolph Ziggler would do this stuff before, he could steal any of their moves, he could do anything that they're doing, and it would be perfectly fine, and he would look like the best guy in WWE. Whereas now he can't be, he can't do the AJ Styles stuff, he can't do the stuff because they're all there and they're all doing that stuff and they do it better.
Really. So he does have a following. He always gets a big pop.
Oh, he's very good.
Yeah, I mean,
he's very, very good.
Yeah, and I don't know. Is it because it's so much like, Heartbreak Kid? Is you think that's a part of the problem?
It's more like it's so much like Mr. Perfect, where you have a guy who's there and he's great and he's an exceptional wrestler, but the unfortunate thing is that you've had him there for too long at the same spot.
And you didn't. And
you never pulled the trigger.
You never pulled the trigger. Yeah. All right. That's interesting. You mentioned Smoky Mountain Midnight Express. Do you have contact or have ever had contact with the man, the myth, the legend?
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Have I ever talked to Okay.
Or would he not talk to you for being a Trump supporter? Or I don't know.
No, it's all right. 2 different interactions with Jimmy.
Okay.
Interacted with Jimmy in real life.
Yeah.
Shook his hand. Had a fun interaction. Jokes and laughs. He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Online interaction. He struck a video that I made, or his co-host did. And when his co-host struck the video that I made, me telling his co-host that he's a fucking asshole about it. Then Jimmy just blocks me on Twitter. He's like, that guy's an asshole. And it's like, you didn't think I was an asshole when you met me.
Yeah. Well, I know. I used to actually kind of work for him. I worked for Joe Cronin. I don't know if you're familiar with him. For a long time.
I am. I did a long a long stream with Joe one time because JD from New York struck a video that I made.
Oh,
And I thought it was Joe because I didn't know who JD was, and I
okay.
assumed that Joe was that was like his screen name is JD from New York would be Joe.
No. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Good.
that was fun. That was a fun, confusing interaction.
Oh, really? He's yeah. Well, I'm not real. I'm not happy with Joe Cronin. He
Oh.
fucked my. Well, now we're on a 3-year peace agreement that has yet to be broken. All right.
Oh, peace treaty.
We're in a peace treaty that has not been broken, but I mean, he knows it's not a big secret. He really screwed my buddy Dave, who was doing a wrestling channel himself. He really screwed him bad. And kept his stupid.
Hold on, Dave. I know this Dave. He did Pokemon streams.
Yeah.
earlier.
Now he does.
Okay, I know him.
Now he does now because he'll be honest. It was more profitable, and it's something he likes. I'm older. I'm 41, so like the Pokemon thing, I don't get why so many people my age or just younger, just slightly younger than me, are so into it. It must have been such a big deal. You know, I come from GI Joe Transformers era. You know, I didn't catch on. I was too old. I mean, it came out.
Same.
I was 20 some odd years old. You know, when it came out, so I was just like, I don't get it.
I was a teenager. It wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
I didn't get it. But I think I would have gotten to the card game, but not with those goofy characters. It just was, you know,
Like all the cutesy stuff. It's like
Yeah.
it's a cartoon Tamagotchi to me. It was really weird. I wasn't into those either.
Yeah, I was too old for that as well, and I didn't really understand why people did it. But I mean, I know people that fucking just love it. They love it the way I like, you know, the Atari 2600. So, maybe I'm missing something, or I don't get it. I don't get it. You know.
Well, you're not a female, and you're just not weeb enough. You're not weeb enough.
I guess so, but like my friend Ace Trainer Liam, this guy gets plenty of puss, right? He's basically made a career. He's got videos with well over 1 million hits. He knows his shit back and forth. He's got the whole sleeve tattoo. He's like, you know, a guy that I would hang out with. But he makes a living from this shit. You know, and he's not a weeby guy like offline. I always feel like I'm missing something. You know.
Well, we've all got a wee bit of weeb in us. Like whether
man.
it's just you'll have some ramen noodles or you'll watch Dragon Ball Z or something like. Everybody has a certain level of weeb in
Oh, yes, right. You like Dragon Ball Z. That's your.
I
bag,
don't
right?
hate Dragon Ball. I don't hate it. I like anything with fighting almost.
I did buy the game. I never watched an episode, and I bought the game. The game's amazing.
Game's fun as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, the game is fantastic. I guess the weebiest I would get is either Overwatch or Voltron. But Voltron's badass. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
I watched you play some Overwatch the other day. I was like, it's a little weeby.
It is weeby, but you know, to me, like, I don't care how like girly the graphics look. If I'm getting first class competition that's challenging me, I don't give a fuck. You know, I'll play.
Always,
Dragon Ball.
I get shit for that. If I tell people I'm having fun, I don't really care what it looks like or what's going on. I will catch some shit.
Yeah, I know.
I had.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just gonna say I had like 30 minutes of fun with Metal Gear Survive, and I caught hell for weeks.
Really? Metal Gear?
Yeah. Well, it was the Metal Gear Survive one that everybody hated. I enjoyed it for like 30 minutes.
Oh,
People
really?
are still giving me shit over this.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I was running around for like forever trying to make a hat, and it was fun trying to make a hat. Like
Yeah,
it was
I
a
got
mission in my head. I'm gonna make a hat.
Yeah.
I had fun with that.
I got
People still give me shit.
I have bad news about Marvel vs. Capcom. It seems that the online stuff for being able to get a match,
That's dead as hell.
that's dead as fuck. That's not coming back. Oh, it sucks.
I don't think-
That sucks.
Well,
That sucks.
a lot of people would have to figure out that workaround, and I was unaware of it.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's the thing about having a gaming channel. I have learned and gotten so much free shit, and there's so much shit you can do. Because I mean, in a lot of ways, if I like a game, I'm pretty much gonna play it the rest of my life, on and off. You know, I mean, I will go back and I will put in the old everything. I mean, it's just that simple. Voltron was your childhood. Yeah, I don't really. Not all new games are great. I don't know if sometimes.
No, they're not.
No, not all new games are great.
New games kind of bother me a little bit. I never feel like I'm getting the full experience, and I always, even if I do get the entire game, all the DLC, play the whole thing, I still feel like they're kind of holding back something to try to sell me in 10 minutes.
Something
every time.
Could be something like that. I mean, there are some new games I really like, but they're just like few and far between. And then I started getting interested in like these independent stuff. I started getting interested in the independent stuff that's Steam because there's like a whole world of Steam out there that most people don't know about. And Steam can really get you stuff like that. I got to switch my. That's the one thing about this. Like, you have to constantly switch the. That's the one thing that kind of sucks is you have to constantly switch the resolution in order for this to work on this particular card. By the way, if anybody wants to know what card I'm using, I know there's a bunch of ways to go around this, but I highly recommend it's an older card. It's probably dropped in price, but it still works with the component. It's LGX Live Gamer Extreme. You don't have to do too much crazy shit when I finally figured out how to use it.
I was never too good with the trying to figure out how to make those work. I would always have to get a friend to do it for me.
I actually, to be honest with you, getting all that shit with streaming, I love just putting stuff together. You know what my ultimate goal is? I want to put an arcade machine together by hand, piece by piece. I'm not in a position to do it now. I've had this book for over a year, how to put your arcade. And I actually, if I could ever get my green screen to like roll straight down, like from the ceiling, because I'm not a handyman. That's just like one. I didn't like cars and I didn't like handyman shit. I didn't like building shit or sawing shit. But I want to be able to. I want the green screen to be a curtain where I pull down, and I want old school arcade machines right behind me, like real ones that are plugged in to the wall. I think that would be just badass. Yeah, probably have to start making money. But go ahead.
I was really, really dumb, and I saw an original Mortal Kombat cabinet, and it was about to be thrown away. And I said, "Are you really about to throw that away?" And they said, "Yeah, we would sell it." I said, "Well, what would you sell it for?" They said, "Well, the joystick's broke, but we'll sell it for about $400."
Really?
And I was like,
"You could fix that joystick. You could fix that."
I know. And I'm like, "Okay, let me think about it for a day." And then I left, came back the next day, and then just went ahead and thrown it away. I should have just got it, cause there was never really a doubt on me that I was gonna get it. I was like, let them think I'm thinking about it, and maybe when I come back they'll be like, okay, $350 or something like that. But no, I was a dumbass. I should have just got it.
Oh shit. It is what it is. You gotta do. Yeah, that kind of blows.
It was an original. It was so sad. Lord Raiden on the side, Johnny Cage on the other side. It was the real deal.
I would have killed for that. I don't know. See, like that's like my next hobby, but I know that this particular hobby might be more than I should be doing. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, it's all right. Gaming's one thing. I can afford that. The arcade shit, that's gonna get expensive real quick. You know?
It becomes more of an investment than a hobby.
Yeah. Well, hobbies cost money. It's like George Carlin said. You know, but I mean. To me, that's like, it's I don't know. To me, it's so fucking cool. You know, I got this guy Joe that lives over here in Germany. He lives a few hours away, and he came over and he saw all the fucking old consoles I had from the '80s, the Intellivision, the Odyssey 2, I'm gonna get a Vectrex soon. And he was just like, I was kind of cool about this generation about gaming. They don't necessarily disrespect the old school stuff. Whereas when I was a kid, if you didn't have the newest system, like people wouldn't hang out with you. You know, whereas the younger kids,
as soon as there was a Super Nintendo, your Nintendo was gone.
Oh yeah. No one's coming over. No one's gonna hang out with you. You know, I was like, no man, what's his name just got Genesis. I'm out. You know, that's just the way it's going.
That's how it was.
Whereas the young kids, they seem to have a kind of a respect for the old school. You know,
I think it has a lot to do with when we were younger, or you're a little older than me, but when we were younger, Mario, he was a thing, but he wasn't a thing like he is now.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Like
now he's
the older they got, he became more of a cultural icon to people.
I think maybe that's it. So they don't see, like, we see Mario as this kind of like little plumber guy, but they see him as this sort of like
he's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, he's Mickey Mouse, exactly. Yeah, nobody hates Mickey Mouse, you know? Yeah, everybody likes Mickey Mouse.
It's like that. He became the Mickey Mouse for what's going on now. Where, like, another thing, like, gaming just wasn't what it was.
Oh, no.
Even, like, 10, 20 years ago. It still wasn't.
The pro gaming. Okay, I want to get you to that. I'm not trying to start wars here. This is more of just interesting. Your war with Destiny. That got really, really personal, right? And
very quickly.
Yeah, real quick. And even though we were kind of enemies at the time, I was rooting for you in that one. I do not like Destiny at all. I really think he's such an arrogant fucking prick that even when he does have a decent point, you don't even want to hear him out because he's, he just thinks he's better than everybody. He went after your intellect and you went after his gaming career. What do you? I didn't get the impression during that. You don't necessarily think little of people that are esports, involved in esports. I just think you're just, trying to get an edge on him. Is that correct? I mean,
no, definitely.
Yeah.
But all right, if I'm going to get buried for doing real sports, I'm definitely going to bury you when you're just doing esports.
Yeah, which I do. I have a respect for those guys. I really do. I love competition. I don't care if it's with gaming or not, I mean, and people don't understand. Like, all right, wrestling's a work, but there's still a lot of competition in the locker room. There's still, a lot of ways to go out to have to try to improve yourself. They don't get that. They don't understand that if you have the belt, you've actually earned it. It's not just because, the company said it's your time to win the belt. It's because they feel comfortable enough that you're going to bring them money.
Everybody doesn't get a turn.
Yeah, it's not like that. And there's a lot of politics, too, of course, with anything like that. It's a lot of politics. Yes. Yeah, I bet even on a lower level. There's a lot of politics.
Yes. It's even worse because there's nothing in place.
Yeah, you know what? Because I've had actually worse dramas on before I got picked for baited than I did during the actual fallout. There was actually stuff like between me and Corona Jesus Christ. I mean, people's wives are getting thrown out, and shit that I did.
Oh yeah.
The shit that I did back then, man, I would never even do now to even Keemstar. But
it gets nasty on a lower level because nobody sees it.
Yeah, it's exactly. You don't care. But now I would care. I would care if people saw me act like that. It's really funny.
Yeah. You start to think differently. The more people that are around, the more people are conscious and see it.
Yeah. Well,
I was like,
I thought the other thing, I thought it was okay. Now I don't think it's cool. I think that's like last option. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's after all right. Did people talk to you about it?
No, because it's too small. Okay. It was under 1,000 subs. But no one's ever said anything, and Joe's not well liked, so that's why I got it. Whereas if let's say I went that route with you, I think my own fans would have turned to me. You know what I mean?
So everybody wanted me to I remember when everything first starts happening. Everybody was like, "You need to get your go in on Tommy C." I don't know Tommy C that well.
I didn't know you. I didn't know that you that well. I didn't know. That's not being like, oh, I didn't know who he was.
I've only been around for a fucking year. I did a wrestling channel. I just started talking like a half a year ago.
So I honestly didn't know, but I did hear about blood sports, and the other thing was, I knew Kraut was involved in something that I wouldn't have approved of, or at least that's what I heard. And I'm just like, look, I don't dump on my fucking friends, just because they fuck up, right? And my whole thing was, I still love Kraut. I still support Kraut. I mean, our relationship is completely private. We've never fucking collabed on anything. It was really more of a fan relationship, and I was the fan. And then all of a sudden, I hear all this stuff going on, oh God, I brought Kraut's name up, and then the stuff happened with Joy, and I'm like, I'm being pulled into this community that I know very, very little about, and
there wasn't much to it.
I didn't do it, and I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what happened with a lot of it is people decided to use. I started doing a show where if people had a problem with each other, sure, come on, and you can talk out your problem.
Great
whatever
idea.
The fuck it is.
Great idea, actually.
Yeah, if people I don't want that drama on my channel. I don't want. Okay, fine, you put it on my channel. I don't give a shit.
Sounds great.
I'd let people have. Yeah, just let people have it out. This ended up becoming a really cringy cudgel that people would try to beat people who they weren't a fan of with.
Okay, and yeah, that's kind of, and then it's fighting, so it's your bag, right? So you're thinking this is just great entertainment. I mean,
yeah, when two people are having a go at each other and they have a genuine issue and they come to a resolution or they come to the spot where they are just done with each other, sure, that's fine. There you go. That would be the thing. But when it becomes something where people are just like, for instance, go after Tommy. I don't fucking know Tommy. What am I going after Tommy for?
Yeah, exactly.
Go after Sargon. I don't know Sargon. Why do I have to? What am I doing to Sargon?
But you're obviously. I mean, you're like me. You can handle yourself verbally. You can handle yourself verbally, and then you become sort of this fighting figure, and then you're also catching me at a time where I know, you caught me at a time where I'd moved away from that because I know it spells the death of your channel. You know, if all you're known for is just throwing down, yeah, it's a big pop and you get everything. But I think if you never have anything else funny to offer or anything like that, the moment you lose a round, or people just get sick of you winning all the time, it's just it goes that way.
Well, it's when you're not willing to be the cudgel anymore.
Yeah, you're just fighting for the sake of fighting.
Well, yeah, I wasn't interested in, like, there would be people who were like, okay, this is happening. You should have these two. Why would I have these two people on who were literally just bitching at each other about getting blocked on Twitter? That's cancer. I can't. Who can care about that?
No, you can't care about that.
Like that's nothing. There's nothing to that. When I kept getting really irritated, just uninterested about it, that's when people are like, oh, well, fuck it. Tonka doesn't want to book fight. It's not about, I'm not trying to manufacture dumb shit. Mm-hmm. That's just dumb.
Yeah. So did what happened? You end up getting caught up in it and just like spun out of control? Because then people want your head after a while too. Are you guys going out? Yeah. Excuse me, Tonka.
Oh, you're
See
good.
you later, buddy. All right. Yeah. I'm playing games, streaming them live. Okay. All right, buddy. Yeah, that's me up there. Go to mama, okay? Well, you just gonna watch me play Street Fighter? You don't want to do that. It's boring, right? Why don't you say bye to everybody and go to mama, okay? Say hello and goodbye. Say hello. Hello. All right, say wave goodbye. Wave goodbye. All right, go to your mother. You see how big this kid's 2 years old, if you can believe this. He's as big as most 3-year-olds. Ugh, we got a wrestler right here. Well, you know what we're doing now? We're actually, it's funny. We do a match on the couch. And he insists on taking turns on who wins. So I don't know if he already gets us to work. He's like, okay.
He's already catching on.
Yeah, he's already catching on. He's like, Daddy, you win. And what happened is I'll give him a freaking power bomb and switch it. And then his thing is he's Jimmy. Like his finisher is he jumps off the top. Yeah.
See,
and then
that's the universal kid finisher.
That is because you fly. Yeah. I'm big on power bombs and power bombs and pedigrees. Or some kind of pedigree reverse. The occasional reverse tombstone works well with kids too, because you don't hurt them, you know, because you're not. It looks like you hurt them, but you don't. You just fall to your knees.
Oh yeah, kids are big on the running power slam too.
The running power. Oh yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's
got him up on the shoulder, just run and flip him over.
Just flip him over to the side. Fire. Well, another thing is he's pretty sloppy because he's only 2. I better get a lot of firemen's carry. I just put my shoulders down, then he flips.
He's
over.
a little green.
He's a little green. He's got to watch the firemen's carry. Yeah. No, that's the thing. But what were we talking about? We're getting away from that because my kid walked in. It felt manufactured to you. You get in fights with people you don't even hate. You know, or even have a beef with, which makes it people do notice that it's kind of fake, and then at the same time, everybody's looking for you to fuck up. You know.
Yeah.
And then when you have that kind of environment, if you do lose, you may lose subs. This may affect your ultimate income. Maybe that you don't care, but that for people that are doing it full time, it's a scary proposition. You know?
That's what ended up becoming the thing where I would argue with Andy more about trying to protect his income, probably more than Andy would argue with himself about trying to keep his income coming in, right? That became a big thing. But that's because he does pay for things with the channel. I don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, you must be. Are you in an employment situation that you're happy with? I mean, you enjoy doing?
Because... Well, I'm set. I don't have to worry about it. And if I do start taking in more money, tax is gonna get real nasty looking.
Oh, okay.
So,
you're well, you live down south. They have reasonable tax codes where you live.
It depends. Different. Just once you go over the line, then everything's. I just have to redo pretty much everything on the way that I live as soon as I go over this here tax line. And when it started to look like I'm gonna make 6 figures in a fucking year on YouTube, I was like, oh god, no.
No.
Come back. Come back.
6 figures. That'd be beautiful. But now that everything's over though, are you generally happy? Do you feel better about YouTube? Are you looking towards the future? I suppose use that kind of corny language.
I try to just do normal, just talk to people, do what I was doing before.
Are you close with Ian? Are you real close with him? Because I'm a big fan of his, by the way.
I used to talk to Ian before I even started doing the Kumite. He would be around like in my Discord and stuff. He's a good dude.
That nice friend to have. To start off. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Were you friends with him during his SJW days?
No, I did not know him then.
You didn't know him there because he was.
I met him like a year ago.
He was a GamerGate
he was
sort of attack. Well, no, but he was also. He was on the other team.
side.
He was on the other team for a bit, you know. And did you ever have a conversation with him? How things changed for him?
Oh yeah. I had once, I kind of met him. I was like, I remember you from because I just met him in like a hangout call on one of those things. I'm like, man, I know you from somewhere. He's like, you probably know me from this. I was like, oh shit, that is you. And how did all this? How did this happen? You seem to be completely different now. And we had a several-hour conversation.
That is weird.
It was really cool to meet a guy who would. Like, I don't know. I like anybody who's like, yes, I was very, very much this way.
Yeah, he was.
But I was wrong.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, I never got to, even back then, I never thought Ian didn't mean well. I think, like, there's a difference between just doing, I think a lot of these, like a Brianna Wu or something like that, they're just rotten people. This is about power to them. Whereas when Ian, when he's at SJW, he really gave a shit about women. He just went about it the wrong way, in my opinion. I never got the feeling like people like Ian and Lacey Green, and there's probably a few other ones out there that didn't really. I'm sure there's people in the Young Turks that mean well. They're just way fucking out of line.
It's too much money for them. I think that for the Young Turks, there's too much money involved.
Oh, they could, they'd be abandoning their audience, Yeah, but not everybody that watches the Young Turks is a total fucking SJW loon, in my opinion.
That's the unfortunate thing. Not everybody who thinks a certain way is that way that everyone wants to paint them, and that's where they kill everything.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking everyone's that simple and everybody, it's that black and white on everything, you lose pretty much every bit of what is human. That's that symptom of like trying to understand human beings through a screen all the time, like people do now.
I got you. Can we talk about ethnicity? Are you comfortable with that? About that?
Sure.
You are a legit 100% born and bred North American native. Is that correct?
Not 100%.
Oh, not 100%. As anybody 100%.
Very predominant.
Well, you can see it in your features and what have you. I only met two. I went to this thing when I was a kid. It was called Close because I did well in history class. So I got to go to something in Washington D.C. called Close Up. We got to meet these politicians, ex-CIA director or members and stuff like that, and they were trying to get people involved in good government and all that kind of horse shit, right? I had never met an Indian in my life in New Jersey. Only guys that had with blonde hair that said they were half Indian. You know what I mean? Yeah. What the fuck was I going with this fucking question? It was a good question, I swear to God.
Did you ever see any?
This is the first time I saw. They were a Navajo tribe, and they were great fucking people. Giant sports fans, by the way. And it was just like I realized like I've only met about 20 Indians my entire life, like legit ones. Like the people that grew up or had some connection to that culture. And a female Marine in Kuwait named Private Poor Bear. She was a sweetheart. I'm trying to say, is it because obviously I did get the feeling, and maybe this goes back to, I guess, the tribal culture or whatnot. Do your average Indian, do they not want to be a part of regular society, or is it just a population that there's just not many of them left? They weren't unfriendly. They were nice people, sports fans, very American, but it just painfully quiet people. Why do you think that is? And is that why I didn't meet anybody, or is it just that there's very few left?
It's a bunch of different reasons. Where like I get really ill about Indian things because, like, for instance, the only time you ever see Indians on TV is when they're having a moan about sports mascots.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so irritating. It's like, we're gonna complain about sports mascots. Let's trot out the same 10 Indians we always find.
Yeah, it's the same guys too. It's right.
Yeah.
And they
I
did
hate that.
They did a poll in the New York Times. Mostly whites care about it, and very few Indians. Most Indians are concerned about economic situations that were polled in this poll. You know, that there's in the Canada, it went to Canada too. Most Indians, I mean, like it was a ridiculous amount, like anywhere between 78 and 80%. Just we have much bigger issues than the Cleveland Indians. You know.
Yes.
You know.
They can't be fucked to care about this kind of stuff because they have real problems or they have real goals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You can't care about sports mascots and make that. That is the flag issue for most Native Americans. It's just I hate it.
When you talk to other Native Americans, have you brought that up that this is just not a? I mean, how does that go over when you say something like that?
I've spoke to one ever that agreed with what I was saying.
Oh, really? No kidding.
One ever. Yeah.
But I saw this poll, and I'm surprised it was only one ever because I saw this poll, and they're saying that this is just not to most Indians that were polled. They've mostly felt like you.
Well, for the most part, they probably do. But it's just not a thing where there's a lot of I don't interact with a lot of it. I'm around a lot of white people for the most part.
Yeah, I got you.
For better or worse. In one town that I lived in, it was literally while I lived there, there was a huge FBI investigation where they busted over half of the police force for being in the Ku Klux Klan.
Jesus Christ!
So I lived in that town for a minute, and I've been around wonderful white people, but I've also lived in towns run by the Ku Klux Klan. So
I can't imagine that shit. How could that? You must have lived in a real podunk town because that shit's not. I lived down south. I lived in
you would be amazed at how unpodunk it was. It was
oh really?
We were all of a sudden podunk is
oh really?
Nobody saw that coming for real. That was. It's hard to explain how hard of a sell that was at first, and then you see all their pictures, and it's like, oh.
You're lucky to get pulled over, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to run into that.
It was a hell of a situation that came. I don't know. It was in 2016, 2015.
Oh my! It's just only 2 years ago. So you're looking at these cops. You probably saw these cops in regular life, right?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Oh my God! And did they ever treat you poorly?
We didn't treat each other anyway. It was one of those things you just see them at the store. It'd be this cop standing over here. Okay, there's that cop. Just kind of passed by them. You knew they existed, and then it's oh, all right.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. That would scare the shit out of me, to be honest with you.
I'm sure it scared the shit out of a large part of the population because a great deal of that town is it's a predominantly black town in some spots, and it was an overly liberal town too. That's another thing that's pretty fun about it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Everybody flipped out.
Yeah, but I mean, even as a white guy, I'm scared of that because I'd run into when I used to go to shows when I was a kid. I used to run into skinheads. They really don't. I mean, most of the time they're beating up other white kids more often because they don't run into too many black kids. So they're
not at the show.
Yeah, they're not. They'll fuck you up. Stab you the whole fucking nine. They're just looking to get their membership card when they go to prison in the Aryan Brotherhood. I mean, it's so to me, I was scared the fuck out of me. I'm as white as they come, man.
It was like those people who plan to go to prison.
Yeah. Like a lot of skinheads I met were like that. They were waiting for the day. It's just how ghetto of you.
What the fuck is that? You plan to fail.
Yeah,
good job.
Yeah, way to go. It's I hate so and so. Man, you don't live near so and so. Oh fuck.
No, that's a genuine problem, right? There are a lot of people who go out and they plan to fail, and they're so afraid of having a goal because they know that in order to do a goal, you might just not reach it. If you don't try hard enough, you're not going to reach it. So they just skip that part and just, I'm aiming to go to jail.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
What the hell?
I can't even imagine that shit.
No, I can't either. I don't get how anybody could have that mindset. Wake up in the fucking morning, look at themselves in the mirror, and be like, this is life.
Yeah. So you never experienced any kind of legit racism or anything like that, other than maybe I'm sure something happened, but I mean.
Oh God, yes. All right, that's a different question.
Okay.
Not from those cops. I guess they were too busy.
Yeah. Okay. So you got a story? You got a funny story?
I've got plenty of stories.
Really?
Racism.
Oh, really?
One town, I'm sitting in the side of a car,
Yeah.
just like waiting for someone to come out. I'm in the passenger side, just sitting on the side. Just get bum rushed.
Yeah.
One guy, another guy's behind him, but one guy just runs up on me. He's got a bandana on. It's just fucking, just trying to like grab me and like yank me out of the car and stuff. And like I throw the dude down and like I'm start to fight him and I'm looking at his bud.
Yeah.
Bud pulls out a gun.
Oh.
He's like, we're police.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, what's up?
Yeah.
No, yeah, we're looking for this and this and this. Okay, well, that's not me.
Yeah. So you had long hair and they pulled you out. Is that what you're saying here?
Oh no, all my hair was up in a toboggan. They were
really?
looking for a short-haired Latino male.
Oh.
He did not have facial hair. He did not look anything like me. Like they get the pic. It doesn't look anything like me. They run up on me and attack me in the car because
Did they arrest you for fighting back? Did they ever arrest
Well,
you?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they did. I immediately got out, and then that was a whole fiasco for about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So, a lot of times when the cops fuck up like that, they'll arrest you and then let you go as soon as they get to the station. You know?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, I had to
save
post
face.
bail. Like, it was immediate bail, and then like we had to go to court over it and everything. And
Oh,
it was
really?
like, well, you were undercover. As soon as you addressed yourself as cops, he blah blah blah. Everything came out in the wash. It was fine.
Oh,
But
really?
like that's a very minor one. I remember in school one time, all I did was I think I shot a 3-pointer over a very popular kid.
Really? Would you
was-
go in your
yeah.
face and did you do all that shit or?
No, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
No, 3-pointer over a very popular kid, and then he gets the ball and he tries to run over me, to get the point because
Over a
he's
3? You
almost
didn't even
over.
dunk on him? It was just a 3-pointer?
Oh, yeah, dude, this is like 5th grade,
Oh, okay.
and he tries to run over me to get it, and I just pack his shit completely.
Yeah, right.
Ruined it. All right, so we're all sitting there at the end of PE and all this shit, and the entire gym, after he begins saying it himself, he gets the entire class to begin chanting "Sitting Bull" at me,
Oh, shit.
and they did this for like 30 minutes.
30
the
minutes?
teachers,
They did nothing?
Yeah,
They did
the
not.
teachers
They
just
do it.
sat there.
Did they not like
Just
you?
sat- Oh no! I guess they did not. I'm assuming.
No,
I have a
because
feeling if I would have chanted any
Mhm.
plethora of any other racial things that other people, I have a feeling I may have gotten
Really?
a slip. But you can't write up the entire class, I guess, would be the mentality.
Yeah, I guess. Really? Well, I mean, I had a similar. I was a little older than you, and I believe it's because of some of the things I said. It was during the Gulf War, right? And I think I made a pretty good, strong argument for the Gulf War and what have you. And then everybody was hoping it was gonna. A lot of people don't remember. Everybody's gonna. Oh, when I was a kid, like it's gonna be worse than Vietnam. They're gonna Saddam Hussein's gonna kill us all, and it was a fucking turkey shoot. When it ended up being. And this is when I found out my teachers didn't like me. Now, they never treated me perfectly. I was standing in line talking to a girl, and there's this black kid behind me who's in prison now. And we had issues, but they never got to the point where we're swinging, right? And then he, because I was talking over his shoulder, he pushed me, right? And I was like, oh, what's your problem, man? And it's like, what's your problem, man? He's like, I don't want you talking over my shoulder. I said, okay, fine. So I moved over to the left. I moved over to the left, and he didn't like that either. And then he came with a push that you have to answer, right? So he pushed me. I pushed him back. Teachers get involved like they normally would. Separate us both, okay? He's up by the chalkboard. There's a teacher standing in front of him. They look at me, and they're like, Callahan, walk out the door. Put my hands up. I said, all right, I'm out, right? And nobody's pushing me around like that. They, as I'm walking towards the door, getting out of there, doing what I'm fucking told, I just feel like I walked into a wall, right? I just you ever walk into something and you're like, oh shit, and you're disoriented? I had gotten, this kid blasted me from behind, right? And you're probably saying, well, you turned your back on him, you deserve it. No, what happened was they let him go as soon as I turned my back. And then I had like 3-4 other witnesses. This Jewish kid named Evan Brunziak, his name was. And he's like, they just let him go. And then, I remember I fell to one knee. And the only thing I can explain it as is it was almost like that thing in that movie. I think it was Switch. It was those English gangster movies where the Brad Pitt gets like knocked down and he looks like he's going to sea level. And I heard somebody laugh at me and I just popped out. And we just went blow for blow after that. But I mean, all right, this had nothing to do with racial tension or anything. It was just two boys got in a stupid fight. 14-year-old boys get in stupid fights. That shit happens, right? It's no big deal. Yeah, whatever. But the fact that the teachers actually...
They just let him go.
They just let him go to beat me. That's when I knew I wasn't liked.
That'll kick it into gear.
Well, the funny thing is they called my dad and he's like, well, we think this might be a racial incident. And they kind of floated that by him. And I said, he just said, I'll see you guys in court. He goes, you think I'm fucking around? I go, I'll just see you. Court. And he goes, here's what I'm going to do. I learned this from him, too. I'm not suing the school. I'm suing you individually.
Oh,
yeah. And both of us just got like 3-day suspensions or 1-week suspensions or whatever it was. Never really had a problem with the kid again. I mean, he blasted me. He got the better of me. I broke his braces. I got a black eye, and he got he had to get his braces realigned, right? But it was generally, I'll be honest, I was generally considered, I lost a fight, right? But I mean, I didn't have a good start either,
Yeah, he got a head start.
I popped up from my knee. I came out of that's whenever I watch that movie, I was like, that's what it feels like when Brad Pitt gets knocked out and all of a sudden he pops up. That's because I had no idea what happened. I didn't even dream for a second that somebody he hit me so hard from the back, I felt like I got hit from the front. That's the only sensation it was the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. Absolutely. The hardest I've ever been hit in my life. And
you weren't bracing for it? There was no blocking to it? There was nothing to it? You weren't ready?
Square, just, where your neck starts to start, like when the bottom of your skull is like if somebody punched the bottom of your skull and pushed up.
Oh.
It was like it must have been a hook. It must have been a hook. He hooked me from behind, man. I mean, I probably had a concussion at the very least. Not a bad.
Very likely.
Not a bad one.
Slugs you at the base of your skull. He's probably.
Yeah. He was trying to hurt me.
That's messed up.
I'm pretty sure. He's been in and out of prison for the rest of his life. He's almost 40. He's been out of prison, like, Trenton. Trenton State.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, the kid was, fuck. You know what? Fuck this guy. I'll drop his name. He's from the famous Scudder family from Princeton, New Jersey.
Scudder.
From Princeton, New Jersey. They're heavy donators, and they adopted this kid. And they absolutely did everything. The school I was in, right, it was like we got state funding for it, right? Because I was out of control in regular school. You had to be, if you paid, like you could be sent from your school district, or you paid outright. If you paid outright, you were filthy fucking rich if you went to the school. I'm pretty sure his parents paid all the way through. I mean, how many black ghetto kids played fucking hockey, at a pretty high level?
Not many.
Skating rates. He was a great skater, man. Just a great all-around athlete. Basketball, hockey, I mean, but I guess it was one of those situations where they couldn't get the ghetto out of the boy type situation. And his name was, I won't say his first name, but he was a part of the Scudder family. And I checked on him just before I turned 30 when I was over here, and he's on New Jersey. And because I bet this guy's in prison. I wrote his name in on the check, and there he was. There he was. Almost from the time he was 20, basically till he's 35. I think he's back in again, in and out of prison. It's a lot of scams, a lot of credit card shit. You know what I mean?
There's no surprise on you at all from it.
Yeah, it was.
You knew to find him there.
Yeah, I did. I was like, I bet he's in prison. Because what kind of motherfucker hits somebody like that?
Yeah.
This.
What grade was that? Like
freshman year.
Freshman year. Okay.
Freshman year. So like, I mean, it's not like I got beat up when I was like 5th grade. We have at this point everybody's through puberty.
You're kind of starting to be who you're gonna be.
Yeah, physically anyway. And I mean, I weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. But I wasn't a big fat ass like I am now. But it's just it was why is he in prison? Credit card fraud. Credit card fraud, yeah. You can look it up. I don't really give a shit, man. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. I won't give you his address or anything. But I guess it's kind of a sad story in a way. You spend all that money.
What's his address? Like cell block C?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just shows you that, throwing money and love at somebody ain't going to fucking fix how fucked up they are in all cases.
Yeah, there is some people are just going to be shit. There's not much to be done about it.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
the lame thing about it.
Yeah, it's just, he was destined. He was destined to be shit. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I've only run across like 3 or 4 people that I would say just there was no chance for them, but those people do exist.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, they really do. I should go look his ass up. Were the teachers black? No, they weren't. They were Jewish and white. Yeah, they were Jewish and white. I don't think that.
I saw that question earlier.
It had nothing to do. It had absolutely nothing to do with them being Jewish or white. It had everything to do with they were. Looking back, they were liberals.
I remember when I was in school, I got suspended because I had braids in my hair. That was like cornrows were. Those were everywhere. Like all the black kids had cornrows, white kids had braids in their hair, but for some reason, I wasn't allowed to have braids in my hair.
Are you kidding me?
So I got. Oh, I'm not kidding. This was a huge thing. Suspended for a week and a half.
Up north, they would have been afraid to say anything because you're a minority. They would have been afraid.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
They would have never said a word to you. You could have came in and lit your hair on fire. They wouldn't have said anything. They'd be afraid to.
Well, funny enough, after PE, since I wasn't allowed to have braids in my hair. I have real thick hair.
Yeah.
But I'd wear it different ways. But I got to where I just wet my hair after PE because it was hot as hell, and I got suspended for that too.
Somebody didn't like you.
I don't think they like me very much. There was one point where they suspended me for 4 days because my jeans had frays on the bottom of them because I had walked on the back of them.
That
so
shit
I had like 3 frays.
never would go up that. They must still have like dress codes. I mean, the only thing you couldn't do when I was a kid is wear a T-shirt that said "fuck" on it. You know.
It was like that about 15 minutes before I get to high school, but Columbine happens. And all of a sudden, wet hair, braided hair, everything was a sign that you were in. God, what was it called?
What were they called? The trench coat mafia.
The trench coat mafia. I don't even have a trench coat.
You know what you should have said? I'm not fucking white. That's a white boy thing to do. So leave me alone, you know.
Kind of. There were a million responses. It was like, oh, you like heavy metal. I listened to Elton John. I don't. What are you coming at me with this for?
Yeah, I guess I was out by then. This is 98, wasn't it? Or 99. Yes, I was already out of school 3 years. I was already out of school like 3 years at that point. And
it was fucking annoying.
I imagine. I did hear another story from Cronin. He's about your age. And he said something like he forgot his ID in school, and it became like they made like a federal case about it.
Oh, they
know, like you forgot your ID, and they actually it was more than just forgetting ID. They thought he was up to something, like he deliberately left his ID, or I forget what the story was, but I mean, it's like, damn, I got out of high school at the right time.
You got IDs, everything, man. Everything became very automated. It became almost like a workplace, from what I heard. You had to have your ID. You had to have. I heard like some schools had name tags around where I was. Just random shit that you had to do.
You think it's because there's more guns down there, or? I mean, I didn't.
I think it was. I think the Columbine scare was part of it. Maybe being more guns being around. Maybe that had a little hand in there. There was probably a bunch of things that had to do with it. It was a nice kind of corner too, so it's like a bunch of people with a lot of money and a lot of pretend things to be concerned about.
Oh, that's wild.
So
that's crazy. It's just amazing. You know, we're only like 5 years apart, and like it's like we grew up in 2 different countries.
Oh, dude, shit'll change. It'll change on a dime.
Yeah.
Look at the way things are now and how they were like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes, that's why I don't see. That's when I talk to kids sometimes or give them advice. I try not to get too involved with like the day to day. I try to stick to principles that are timeless, because otherwise, you know, it's like, oh, who's that old man? He doesn't know shit. Because I really don't. I really don't know what that's like. I have no idea. I don't know if I could have lasted. You know, I remember. I took. You're not supposed to have your hat on in school, right? But I mean, my locker was right next to the door. I did this every day for like 2 years, you know. And I know I walked by this guy 1,000 times, and I'd walk to the locker, like in locker, popped it open, hat off,
pop your cap on, and walk out.
It's like I didn't take it out immediately afterwards. I wasn't in the military yet. I would have done it then, right?
Yeah.
And I know I'd walk by this teacher for the last 2 years. I'm a senior in high school, right? I'm 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
And he reaches over the locker, grabs the hat, and he says, "This is mine. You'll never see it again." And
I had the same fucking experience.
I said, "You're gonna give that? You're gonna give that to me, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." My dad gave me that, and he gave it back. And I was deadly serious. I was like,
I didn't have that part of the experience, but I did have
I said, "I'm gonna beat your ass.
You.
I'm gonna beat your ass, and then my dad's gonna stick up for me."
What do you think was the thing for him that day to reach over there and do that? He was just having that day?
I said hello to that man and goodbye to that man every day from 1992 to 1995. I have no idea. I wasn't, look, if you pushed me, I'd push back. And if you're a nasty teacher, a nasty kid, I'd push back. But I'm different than a lot of northern kids. I was yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know, that's how shit rolled in my family. You know, and I remember when I was, like, it was kind of weird, like going down south, going to like a Waffle House. You know, I do that yes man, no man, and I get funny looks from the Southerners. They think you're fucking with them because you're a Yankee. You don't mean it. You know, like, no,
kinda.
This is how. No, but that's the way I rolled. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I guess I got East Coast when I got disrespected or something like that, or somebody would do something like that. You know, then I would get rude. Then all the shit would I wouldn't go, "Sir, please give me my hat back." I said, "You're gonna give my hat back. And I'll whip your ass right in front of you." You know, and I was mad, dude. Like, oh, my dad's gonna fucking back me up.
That's something that happens with me too. The angrier I get, the more my accent moves up the coast.
You really like with too many Goodfellas movies. You know?
Yeah, well, I've went up and down the coast through life, and just apparently the angrier I get, the further up the coast I apparently move until I get to Jersey, and it's just almost nuke.
Did you wrestle up at Jersey?
No, I've just been up to Jersey. I've wrestled all the way up to Philadelphia, all the way over to Texas, and it was illegal, but it was over the Mexican border once. Don't tell nobody.
I got you. Philadelphia's a great wrestling town, man. They pack. You could get big independent shows over there, real big. They are nuts. Philadelphia's a great town for
tiny
wrestling.
shows.
Yeah.
Even tiny shows are huge there.
They love seeing people work. It's just a big thrill for them, and if you can, connect with them, like it's the way ECW did, and if you can connect with them and then give them a show, they will always show up and give you their ticket money.
The further north you go, the more wrestling fans will watch the little things you do and appreciate your in-ring work. The further south you go, the more they want to connect with whatever kind of personality you have.
I got you. But I was down south, or at least maybe not so more tradition. The Southerners like to treat the work like a sporting event, like a legit sporting event, where the Northerners are a little more spectacle oriented. Is that still true, you think? Like, the WWF was completely different than WCW in the 80s and other promotions. I mean, I always got the feeling I always liked, and I still do, it's probably not possible anymore, I like pretending that it's a real sporting event where people move up and become the number one contender. I like that. I still find that entertaining.
Like top 10s and shit.
Yeah,
that would help so much.
I don't understand why Vince McMahon thinks that's. I don't know. Like, when he got real in the '90s, I mean, he could still do like the angles they do, but I don't understand why isn't it treated like a pretend sporting event? It's a show. The show's about a bunch of wrestlers. There's a belt and everybody wants it. It's a real simple formula, and it never gets old. I don't understand why they overcomplicate it sometimes.
They do kind of end up overcomplicating it, but you have to look at it. The way that they sell it in WWE is a TV show, and just as a TV show, it's doing the right thing if it wants to remain a TV show.
I got you.
He doesn't have to sit there and live by a top 10. He doesn't have to set up, this guy, and this guy have to lose to this guy, and this guy. No. He doesn't show you the top 10. He lets it all just kind of live in your head. Whereas there were other promotions that did do that, and they did take that kind of care of their product. That's just an added complication when you're trying to put on a TV show the way that they are.
Yeah, no, especially when people getting hurt and. What's his name? Got fired. Big Cass. And they're saying he got fired in a way where you don't come back. That's what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
He got fired in a way because he talked about being a Trump supporter too much.
Get the fuck out of here.
You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't. I don't believe that at all.
that turns out to be the reason is that nobody likes him because he was way too outspoken about being a Trump supporter.
The whole
None of the
company are
people like
Trump.
him.
What do you mean? Donald
Well,
loves Trump.
Vince and Linda.
Yeah.
Vince and Linda are.
Oh, not the rest of them?
Steph, not so much.
Oh, okay.
Well, publicly not so much because she's trying to do another deal.
Yeah, probably. I
But
imagine you can't be.
that's it's just a lot of people didn't like him because he's an outspoken Trump supporter.
Mhm.
There was apparently some incident, like where he's out drunk on a plane or some shit, and it's just a bunch of things happen. I think him
young.
losing Enzo is probably the biggest problem for the guy, and then it turns out that Enzo was fired over something that was abundantly untrue.
Yeah, but
just not even pretending to be
But
true.
nobody likes Enzo anyway because he's a big pain in the ass in the locker room. And he's not. Although he's athletic, I mean his work is just it's average at best. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
But,
he's really good on the mic, and that's the only reason they hired him.
yeah. He's not. He's
But-
a terrible worker, and from what I've heard from other wrestlers, he doesn't really understand the history. He doesn't really understand how ring work works. I don't either, by the way. I'm just going by what they say.
Nobody likes him.
Yeah, just nobody likes
That's your nail in the coffin with something like wrestling, where it's not a legitimate competition. All right, in reality, it is nepotism, the sport.
Yeah, it is.
So
I love that.
you had
That is. I
if-
love that.
But if you're not liked, nobody fucking likes you. In a sport where the only way you get anywhere is that people have to decide to put you there,
Yeah, it's rough.
you're screwed.
That's why there's so many great wrestlers that don't have the belt. That's why Mr. Perfect never had the belt.
It's the exact reason why you have someone like Hulk Hogan's the champion, the Ultimate Warrior is the champion.
Yeah.
These guys are champion, but Mr. Perfect never sniffed that title. Rick
Roddy
Rude never
Piper.
sniffed that
Roddy
title.
Piper, in my opinion, the greatest heel of all time. The greatest
Piper
heel
was
of all-
great.
Yeah, the great. It never got a sniff. Not even WCW. They didn't throw him a bone. I don't even think he held it. Oh, he held it for a day.
But they
and then Nash
they
came
pretended
out.
to throw him the title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they pretended to throw him. Why did they just give him a month? For fuck's sake. You know, it's funny.
Oh, it's moving too fast. Then
I read
it's
his
moving too
book.
fast.
I read his book. That guy bitched about everything but fucking not having the title. I don't think I've ever heard him. I could be wrong about this. Somebody could come up and say, he bitched about it. This. I heard him bitch about everything on the stand. Vince McMahon, all the crazy rants he had. I never heard him bitch about not having the title.
Piper was never big on having the title because he didn't think that he needed it, and
He
plus
probably
there
did.
was
Probably
the
did.
added.
He probably
There's
did.
also the added benefit of if you don't have the belt, you don't have to worry about doing a job with it on the way out.
I see. So it doesn't even hurt your, because I tell you something. One of the hardest jobs. I'm sure at the time he didn't mind doing it. Was Bam Bam Bigelow when he had the job to LT, and I think that really hurt his career. That job.
It didn't help it.
It didn't help it at all. And Bam Bam, because I think Bam Bam was just such a. Yeah, I think he was a wrestler's wrestler. Like, boss tells you to go out to do a job, and you're gonna headline WrestleMania. Yeah, no problem. But I remember like 10 years after that, he's in a WCW ring and they're still chanting LT, LT. I'm like, fuck. There's very few losses in history that follow wrestlers because they have to job so much. But that job, I always felt bad for him because he was fun to watch.
That was a main event of WrestleMania job to a guy who had never ever wrestled before and was visibly almost unable to move by the end of it.
Yeah, it was a terrible match. Yeah.
It was not a good thing.
No.
If you're going to do something like that, especially with a monster like Bam Bam Bigelow, who was so fucking good, so damn good.
So good.
Immediately after, you have him tear through everybody and get the title by SummerSlam. You build him back up immediately.
Yeah, you make
like
him
they
a
did with
you,
Brock Lesnar.
You could make him a
He
maniac.
came in-
He'd cheat.
Exactly.
Just make him a maniac. Fucking. Let's say he has a big matchup. He hits the guy in there with a fucking crowbar, but he still beats him, and just keep going,
Yeah.
going.
The same thing they did with Brock Lesnar when he came back. He loses to John Cena, but within a year or two, they have made him just the scariest, most unstoppable guy on the entire roster.
That's it. He still maintains that kind of vibe about him, even though he's lost the title.
They could have done that with Bam Bam, and Bam Bam deserved that and could have held that mantle. It's not like you put that on him and he couldn't run with it.
No, he couldn't.
That guy could have ran with it.
He did cartwheels in the fucking ring at 300 pounds. He could do what he wanted. He
Bam
literally
Bam
did cartwheels
Bigelow-
in the ring,
He was one of the few guys that when he came through a curtain, it's like that dude he's got flame tattoos on his fucking head.
Yeah. Well,
Like you were in for a real pro wrestler then,
yeah.
and people knew it.
But here's the thing
Should've
about
went with
Bam Bam. There wasn't. I met him once, right? Or actually crossed paths. I shouldn't say met him. I saw him outside of fucking a liquor store. You know,
That works.
Dude. In Asbury Park, he is a legit street tough guy. There's no like nobody fucks with him, right?
I believe
He's a nice guy, but I mean he could bust your fucking head open. Cops wouldn't do anything the whole nine. He was a legit street guy in a very, very tough town. That is, I'm not saying it's the toughest town in New Jersey, but Asbury Park, 80s and 90s, that's a rough fucking town. You know, they find bodies, nobody ever looks into it type of town. I had the Stone Ponies over there. I mean, like when I was a teenager, we went there and they told us don't walk down the fucking street. Well, the one time we did, guess who we saw? Bam Bam Bigelow. It's fucking two armfuls of booze. It was like those old brown bags. And we're like, hey! And he just goes, hey! And he just kept walking. I swear
It's fucking awesome.
It was fucking great, you know? But like
is great.
somebody says we probably should go back to the Stone Pony, man. Because it was like literally like right down the street. So we probably should go back because we're probably, if Bam Bam could walk here alone, we probably can't. You know?
Bam Bam's walking around here. You don't want to play.
Like, you want nothing. That's God's honest. That happened. And then I also met Roddy Piper once. In a really
how was that?
In a really awkward. Well, he was at a horror movie convention just before I joined the Army in 2003. About a year before I joined the Army, he was at a horror movie convention. He was selling his book, which I still have an autographed copy of his book in the other room. I had a tough time getting through the book because it's a lot of rambling. It's almost like the way he talks. You know?
It's like listening to.
Like, what the fuck? You know? I mean, he's my favorite. He is my absolute. I think he was the greatest. I'm sure there's guys that are better, but I don't think there's anybody that could. If you consider his size, because he's only a little bigger than me, right? If you consider his size and he could headline the first two WrestleManias, that's and make it look like he could beat Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? Because he never had a superpower body. It was mic work and an intense drive in the ring. You know, the fact that people could cheer, because it's almost like you stand next to Hulk Hogan. It's like, yeah, so what? You're gonna squash this dude. You know? No. Roddy Piper was so good that you didn't know if Hogan could squash that dude. You know, because he was such a cheater. He's so wily. You know. So I met him. I met at the horror movie convention. I waited in line. He's really nice. He's shaking everybody's hands. And I said to him, I walked him. I was like, "You're the greatest heel. I don't care who else is out there. Stone Cold Steve Austin, anyway. You're the greatest heel of all time." Guess what he does? He leans in real close to my ear. All right. So get this, and I figured it out like a second or two later. So the kids don't hear him. Keep in mind, this is 2003. The curtain's been lifted. Okay, but he's so old school. He wants to whisper to me like I'm a smark. I'm not even that smart as smark. And he just goes, "Baby faces are boring." But I realized, like, why are you whispering? Just say it. I'm like, oh, you're so fucking into that mode. You don't break kayfabe even for a book signing, motherfucker. Oh wow. You know, I'm sure now. I mean, he was doing a podcast before he died, but yeah, like I'm like, wow, these guys are really in it, bro. They're so.
They're in it.
Yeah, because I remember I read Mick Foley's. He says he never lied to his wife and kids. He always told them it was work, and he said the companies told them to lie to their kids, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh fuck no, you know. And I guess Roddy was that guy. That he was.
Oh, Roddy. Arn Anderson's another one. Arn Anderson did a shoot interview back when they first started happening, and he does not break kayfabe the entire time. It's amazing. Abdullah the Butcher has a shoot interview that's on YouTube now, and it's amazing to listen to because he doesn't break kayfabe either.
He can't do it.
And this poor guy who's trying to do the interview is just getting shit, just getting shit on the whole time.
Oh God, that's
great interview.
That is so funny.
It's like, no, I paid you for a shoot interview, and it's like, no. Some guys aren't gonna give you that. I don't care how much money you hand them, bud. It's not gonna happen.
Well, I know Flair had trouble with it at first because I used to listen to a Canadian show called Live Audio Wrestling, late '90s, early 2000s. Great show, by the way. Actually, Jeff Marek, who ended up going on to hockey over in Canada after that, he's a big hockey personality in up north. And yeah, gentleman Jeff Marek. which is basically the program between that and that movie behind the was it Behind the Ropes or Beyond the Ring?
Beyond the Mat.
Beyond the Mat. It was great.
Yeah.
My friends used to always tease me because when I got smart, I was like, "Well, this is what they're doing here, and this is it." And they look at me and they go, "Tommy, is that a Beyond the Mat moment?" And they were goofed on me for fucking years because I got smart. Because I understand that I was like, "Oh, there's," because wrestling in the 90s, because they lifted the curtain, wrestling became more interesting to me. The carnival show, the carnival aspect of it, the tricks, the moves, how to get the psychology, that became more interesting to me than what I didn't give a shit about the angles. You know,
I kind of got that way too. That was a different kind of time.
Yeah, it was really great. It's not as cool anymore because everybody's smart now. You know, and
everybody is smart. Everybody thinks they're smart.
Everybody thinks they're smart. I should say everybody thinks they're smart. I'm just saying, like, but back then I probably was legitimately smart because there were so few people that were, right? Because it just started. There were, and I remember thinking, wouldn't it be great if just everybody was smart? So people wouldn't think back then. If you talk like that, people thought wrestling wasn't gonna work. Like, it was almost, you had to watch who you, like, back in even the late 90s, you had to watch and who you talked to because you didn't want people to think you were an idiot. It's like, that shit's not real. It's like, yeah, I know it's not real. That's why I'm talking about who might go over and who might not go over. What the fuck are you talking about going over? It's like, oh, fuck off. I need new friends, you know? And, but now, if you say, like, I'm a wrestling fan and this, that, and the other thing, no one even looks at you sideways anymore. Very rarely. Very rarely. I mean, it still happens, I bet, but just not to the point where, where I watch what I say about wrestling ever.
Well, it's another symptom. I always call it symptom, but it's a symptom of the internet for real. Just like video games being accepted, it's a symptom of the internet.
Yeah, it is.
Pro wrestling becoming more accepted, it's a symptom of the internet. It's just those. All that's.
Is a good thing.
See, that's what I'm saying. There are some things that I think there was something to not being able to find a wrestling fan every day. There was something to walking up on someone and seeing like a wrestling T-shirt and be like, "Oh shit, that's a wrestling fan."
Those days are gone. But you know what? I found it's one of those things where it's hindsight's 20/20. I thought that was a pain in the ass back then, and now I kind of long for it because I didn't know how cool it was to have an inside. I'll tell you another story. I bet you know Sal Graziano, right?
Sally?
FBI over at ACW. I went to high school, and he lived in Sal grew up in my town in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I went to high school with his dirty secret. His real name is Valente, and his real family name is Valente.
Dirty.
And his dad. You're not supposed to do that, right? I think he's done a movie as Sal Valente. I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah, he's out of the game now.
Yeah, he's out of the game. Well, I used to run into a comic book shop. Great guy, by the way. And I went to school. I went to high school. I was on a baseball team with his brother, his younger brother, who's about my age. He's probably 40 now, 41. And his dad, right? And this is just before the ECW boom. He was in ECW before Heyman got in control of it, all right? And this is just before the boom. And Rob's father, or Sal's father, was so proud of him because he was breaking into the business. And, being his size, especially in an area like New York and New Jersey, Philadelphia, he was selling some tickets. And he was real proud of his son. So this is before the curtains lifted, right? This is before 1998, I should say. The curtain's been lifted, but there's no internet. People aren't talking about it like they were.
It's not blown the hell open.
It's not blow the hell open, right? And I looked at his dad. I said, I know that stuff's not real. And he wouldn't break kayfabe, told me. He's a little kid. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think you're stupid. It's like, but there's a lot more real shit going on in that ring than you think. And I said, well, what? Tell me. He's like, nope. And I just found that so, like, mysterious and shit. Like, why aren't you telling me? You can tell me how to pull a fucking, a slider and put it in right field, but you can't tell me how your kid makes a living. Like, and because I know it's a work, but I didn't even know what a work was. And I know you're not an idiot. So, like, why won't you tell me this shit? He says, I'm telling you, there's a lot more stuff. These guys got a lot of, and I was just like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But it was so funny, like, now, because I was real close to unlocking the mystery before everybody unlocked it. Now I wish there was still a mystery. So
there's a way to turn back the clock. Yeah, that's all I wish now. I can't go back and watch it the same way.
But do you really want to consider it like a freak because you're a wrestling fan? Because everybody thinks that you don't understand that it's not a work. Do you really want to go
Well,
back
that
to
was
that?
the trade-off.
Yeah,
That is the trade-off between you were the freak because you were the wrestling fan and you were the one who got it, or you were the one who
yeah.
was into it, or now you can be part of the gaggle of people who are all into it. Everybody's into it.
Yeah.
Everybody is in. They all know who Kevin Owens is, and
Yeah.
they all know this, and they all know that, and everybody knows it's a win. Everybody talks about riders, and
Yeah.
it's a weird thing. But like everybody who's just now got into wrestling will sit there and talk to you about how awful Vince Russo's storylines are, and it's like that's the only writer's name you know.
Yeah, that's right. They're not. That doesn't make them wrong though.
No, it doesn't make them wrong, but like I'll hear people talk about how awful Vince's storylines are. He's not even a writer for WWE. Hasn't been for almost 20 years.
20 years, but they watch all these old shows that are on YouTube and shit, and then they get all opinionated. They get all opinionated about that.
It's brutal.
Oh shit! I forgot to watch the. I gotta go. I'll go check on soccer. You live in Europe. You gotta follow this shit.
Oh, you gotta know.
Yeah, I'm kind of pulling for England because why not? I mean, the Red Sox won. The Cubs won.
Is Germany out of the game?
They're out of it. The world champs are
Oh.
out, man. They showed up like. These guys showed up. Well, I shouldn't say they didn't show up. There was no urgency in Deutschland. None. Zero.
No urgency
No
in
urgency.
Deutschland.
No urgency. These guys. My wife was like, she's not even a big soccer fan. She goes, I'm just goddamn disappointed. He goes, I swear to God. She's like, my fat ass would have ran harder and played harder than those guys. And it did look like that. Like they were lost in the sauce. It's a really difficult target to have in your back when you're a world champion. You know, especially that kind of world champion. It's a really a lot of the gray beards that left since the last 4 years. They're coming in world champs. They got huge targets on their back. Mexico knocks them, gives them a punch in the mouth the first, and they never recover. They scored one goal in the prelims, man. One goal. This is fucking Germany we're talking about.
So like first round
goal. Gone. Prelims gone.
Oh.
No round. No nothing. And you know what? I was starting to think about it. Happens a lot. Italy did it in 2010 as well. It's a hell of a target to have on your back. And you know what? You're missing guys in almost every situation. Like those guys that are in their early 30s have been doing it and doing it and doing it, and they're not there. They're not there 4 years later. They're gone. They're doing Old Spice commercials, you know? And it's just tough for those younger guys. Or I was 20 when I won it. Now I'm 24, still a young guy. How do I bring my team to the next level? Oh, guess what? I'm not that good.
Yeah.
I was
You have to carry the load for those guys.
I was led. I wasn't a leader. I never learned how to be a leader, you know, and I think that's exactly what happened in Germany. They have a leadership problem, you know, and it doesn't help. Like their top leader is a guy named Philip Lahm, who was he's only like 5'6", 5'7", but he's one of the toughest son of a bitches in the league. And I mean, I seen him give up an old goal, and he was just like, you know what, fuck this, I'm getting it back. Took it coast to coast, and he's a defender. And you know, that's the kind of guy that he was, and that's a lot harder to do in hockey than it is in basketball, or a lot harder to do in soccer. Go coast to coast than it is in basketball or hockey, you know. And that's the kind of, but they didn't have heart like that. They didn't have guys that could get in your face and you could respect them after they yelled at you. You know, you had a lot of guys that were superstars. You know, and now
once your team is full of superstars, you're done.
Yeah, they had superstars. They didn't have guys that just got dirty. They didn't have guys that played hurt, and they did have that. They did have that.
You gotta have hungry dudes.
Well, they had a guy he's around my age. He was like was 37, 38 during the last World Cup, and everybody was pissing and moaning at the coach for taking his old fart. Well, every time he substituted him, he fucking had a huge impact, and most of the time he scored. They won the World Cup. You know, I was like, you can't put Klose in. He's just too old. He's out of it. He's so 2002 and 2006. You know, like he's long gone now because he's a legit old fart now.
Yeah, well, he's the one who wanted it.
Yeah, bad. That's the thing. You knew. Another thing, some of it's luck too. You get hot, you just don't get unhot. You know, I think the thing with any tournament, even like the NHL, and not so much in the NBA because the best teams tend to win every year. But you know,
and that best of seven thing kind of ensures that whoever the better team is going to get it.
You could get a bad break in hockey and other sports more so than you can, or even baseball. Like if you takes something, goes through somebody's legs or something and brings in a couple of runs. But in basketball, the champ is betting dogs in the NBA is fucking. It's risky. You know?
Little.
Oh!
Just a little.
Oh shit! It's 2-0. 2-0. Looks like the Limeys are gonna take. It looks like the Limeys are gonna be in it.
How many rounds are left?
I think they're in the quarterfinals. So whoever wins this goes to Sammys. The Sammys will be next week, and then 4 days after that will be the final.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then
Has England done well in the past couple of cups?
They're the Boston Red Sox. Well, the old, for pre-2003 Boston Red Sox Cubs. They find fantastic ways to lose. They snatch defeat out of
fantastic
ways to lose. Yeah, they snatch defeat out of the draws of victory. That's their bag. That's their bag. And their most embarrassing moment came in 1986, right? Where they were playing a real tough game against Argentina. And this guy, Diego Maradona, was considered one of the best of all time. He was kind of a lowlife, though, to be honest with you, a drug addict. But he did something. They were in extra time. This is basically overtime for them. And he went up for a header, realized he wasn't going to line up right, held his fist by his head, punched the damn thing in the goal. Ref didn't pick up on it, right? That put England out of it, and they've choked every year since, right? They have the best team on paper. They don't get out of the prelims, right? So they interviewed this guy Maradona afterwards. He goes, and the reporter thought he was going to be a wise ass, and he asked him in Spanish. He goes, "How did you score that goal?" He said, "It was the hand of God." So that thing has been ringing in English heads for
hand of God.
30 days, for 30 fucking years, dude. 32 years later, there's like, he's a cheater. I think it was a kind of a funny response. I mean, he didn't get caught. I come from a hockey way. Ref doesn't see it, doesn't happen. That's the way I think.
That is the way most times.
Yeah, I mean, that's a funny thing to say. I mean, Muhammad Ali, when he was involved in I don't think he was involved in the fixed fight, but when he fought Sonny Liston for the second time, Liston all of a sudden goes down like he's been gunshot, and they asked Muhammad Ali, like, what happened? He goes, I hit him with a phantom punch.
The phantom punch.
The phantom punch was so fancy you didn't see it. That's a funny response. Liston was hooked up with the mob and everything else, and he had no chance against Ali at this stage. That's always been one of those fights where people, like, you will see people go to war like it's a religious battle. No, especially over here with soccer. My problem with soccer is I love the game. I hate the sportsmanship. I think one of the reasons English has lost is they don't fucking roll on the ground like a bunch of babies trying to draw red cards. Because culturally, it's out of their. I'm not saying they never do it, but it's a sports culture thing. That's dishonorable. All the other teams.
I hear it all the time that happens in soccer. Is that a big thing with Europe?
It's disgusting. It's repulsive. It's so common now. I think it came from South America and just spread like wildfire because they didn't crack down on when they needed to. I mean,
and they finally started throwing some cards on it or something.
Yeah, they put cards. They started. Well, if you get big save! Holy shit! Sweden just broke through, and the goalie. Oh man! Diving save to the right. This looks like it's pretty exciting. We only got 20 minutes to go. Sorry about that. You know what?
You're good.
I'm gonna have. Do you have somewhere to do so you can hang around? But I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get a Coke and a cigarette. You don't mind, do you?
Fuck it. I should go grab a drink. I can go grab a drink.
All right.
I sit around.
I'll mute the mic. I'll be right back. Hold on a second. All right, everybody in there. I guess we're gonna keep this sports convo going. You guys just hang out. We'll be right back after these messages. I promise.
Resurrection. You know what they say. The third strike is what counts. You know things you can get into. Don't think that I can knock you out. 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 Don't think that I can knock you out. Yeah, you know what they say. The third strike is what counts. And you can get into. Don't think that I can knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out.
All
the world, a street fighter 3. Prepare for battle. Knock you out. Stare at myself in the mirror, and the noises around me fade. No fear for my health, never give up. Though the voices around me say it's a long shot, it'll never happen. To put your money on that as they laughing. I know I'm up against the best, but we fighting in the streets, left, right, left. Don't mind it. This is what I live for right here. You think I go for 'cause the lights lit? Look, I don't know, it's like this. Think you can 'cause I walk no hype is. Ever what they painted up to be. And the underdog is evidently the one who got more to win. I'ma make it taste the ground, it's my Hadouken. You know what they say, the third strike is what counts. You know, and you can get it too. Don't think that I can knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Don't think that I can knock you out. I've been waiting for this moment. This is what I spill my blood for. Always being up early mornings, every day, even when I wasn't up for it. So you see, you don't need to believe. Either way, you are our enemies. As I travel around the globe and I go against you, that's my fighting code. Now you know what my intentions are, and you know that I came from afar. But if you study my style, 'cause I study yours and I know who you are. I know you, and I know all your weaknesses. In the eye of a needle is exactly what I came to do. And I ain't leaving till I beat you, I ain't here to lose. Knock you out. Knock you out. Yeah, you know what they say, the third strike is what counts. And you can get it too. Don't think that I can knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Don't think that I can knock you out. Prepare for battle. Resurrection. You know what they say, the third strike is what counts. You know, and you can get it too. Don't think that I can knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Don't think that I can knock you out. Yeah, you know what they say, the third strike is what counts. And you can get it too. Don't think that I can knock you out. Knock you out. Knock you out. Don't think that I can knock you out. It's over. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. Knock you out. Stare at myself in the mirror, and the noises around me fade. No fear for my health, never give up. Though the voices around me say it's a long shot, it'll never happen. To put your money on that as they laughing. I know I'm up against the best, but we fighting in the streets, left, right, left. Don't mind it. This is what I live for right here. You think I go for 'cause the lights lit? Look, I don't know, it's like this. Think you can 'cause I walk no hype is. Ever what they painted up to be. And the underdog is evidently the one who got more to win. I'ma make it taste the ground, it's my Hadouken. You know what they say, the third strike is what counts. You know, and you can get it too. Don't think that I can knock you out.
We're back. We're back. England, still 2-0. I think that's I think they sealed the deal. Tonka, you still there?
I am.
All
I
right.
am. I am alive.
I was thinking, did you watch Ian's last video?
The last one he did.
Yeah, the last one.
The last one I saw, he did a stream with the comic guy. Was the last one I saw. I might have missed one if there was one after that.
Yeah, he made a commentary video yesterday on the situation with.
Oh shit!
With Guild
No,
Wars.
I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I was wondering if that came up. They had this. I didn't know too much about it, but apparently, they had this woman who was a dev for Guild Wars, and she
was the writer, right?
Yeah, she started going after YouTubers, going after community members, and.
Well, not just YouTubers. She was going after like Total Biscuit, saying she was happy he was dead.
I know, and they didn't fire her for that, but I guess they finally got around to firing her ass. I mean, and then of course they, you want to talk about red cards. I mean, they roll that. That's what SJWs do. They roll on the ground trying to draw that red card.
Oh yeah.
They got caught, and it's just
Start squalling.
I know that. Well, I love what Quartering's got going on. Get woke, go broke. They actually removed his T-shirt that says "Get woke, go." Yeah, they did because I think. Yeah, well, he switched all his T-shirts to a spreadshirt next day. Somebody made a hate speech complication. All it says is "Get woke, go broke," but it did have a picture of her. I think it did.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it did. It was like a picture of a cowgirl, but I guess it was like a sketch of her. So I mean, that is a no-go. You can't. I have a T-shirt on now that's of one of my enemies, but it's the logo's it's not copy. It's over 100 years old, so it's not copyrightable. But yeah, you can't put the guy on your shirt. I get that. But no, he just says, you know what? I'll just switch it to the spreadshirt. But I mean, it's like, what do you think about that? Like when these guys, they start shit, and when people fire back, I mean, the company made no apologies for firing her. They were like, look, we're not allowing our devs to dump on our fan base. Why do you think there was such in his whole point, there was a shit ton of defense for her? Like, where do you think that comes from? Like, how do you defend somebody that's like losing money for the company? I don't. Like, do you have any insight on that?
You'd have to hit Marvel up for it. There's nepotism is probably the only thing I can think of.
It's just they'll stick up for anybody. It doesn't matter if I don't know. It just seems that these SJWs think there's no rest for politics for them. There's no off-duty time. It's 24/7, 7 days a week, and their will be enforced. And even to the point
you
where
wake up crying, you go to bed crying. That's how they are.
I mean, I would have fired this woman too. Not so much for what she said on Twitter. That she's pissing off our customers. Like they think
the customers don't like her.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. I mean, everybody gets fired under those circumstances. Everybody.
In most cases, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping you saw the video and
well,
kind of opinion.
I've seen a lot of the story, but like, was Ian defending her?
No.
Okay,
like,
I was wondering if Ian
no,
was. It seemed like something he would tell her to go down.
He was showing. He did say that. Look, on a speech issue, like she's certainly entitled to think that everybody that's a fan of fucking Guild Wars 2 is a misogynist. And in that sense, I guess he's a little iffy about it. But on another thing is, she works for a company, and she's making it harder for that company to make money. Who doesn't get fired under those circumstances? Everybody gets fired.
People have the right to make all kinds of speech, but people also have the right to react to that speech.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Yeah, a company has the right to hire/fire who they'd like to hire/fire.
Yeah, another amazing save by the English goaltender. That's unbelievable. This goalie's on fire.
I think England. Are you pulling for England in it
kinda.
now? I mean, Germany's gone, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
an England guy.
Well, it usually goes like this. I go States, Ireland, Germany, but this is, I don't know. To me, like, they're supposed to be kind of an enemy team, but it's one of those things. Like, I know a lot of White Sox fans were kind of pulling secretly for the Cubs when they won it, and I think this is what's going on. It's kind of like, yeah, their hometown team, but they're my enemy team, so we won one, so it's time for them. It's like it's a secret thing because should I say this? Real talk, the metaphor Messiah rooted for the Cubs during the World Series. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't believe it. Oh, he's from the other side of Chicago. He's a White Sox fan.
CM Punk just considered unblocking you.
He's a White Sox guy too. I thought he's a Cubs guy. Oh no, he's a Cubs. Oh yeah,
you said you pulled for the Cubs.
Yeah, I got it. I didn't know I didn't know he was a Cubs. I didn't know. Yeah, sorry, that was my idiocy.
No, you're good.
Yeah, yeah. Did CM Punk block me? He still go by Coach on Twitter?
He used to go by Coach on Twitter. I just assume he had everybody blocked.
Does he have you blocked?
I'm very sure he has me blocked.
Oh really?
I've never said anything to him.
Oh no, I am not blocked. I don't think tweeted something to him once 5 years ago, and I think it was positive. Yeah.
Nope, I'm not blocked.
You're not blocked.
I'm not blocked.
Maybe unblocked.
Holy shit! The last tweet that he threw out was when he lost that day. I guess the Corey Graves love letters kind of creeped him out.
He, let's talk about that. I admire his heart, but
Yeah.
he has no business in that ring, man. None.
Well, he would have business in an amateur ring. That's the he screwed himself. Do you remember when Dave Batista went out to do his MMA fight?
I never saw it, but I remember him going about doing it. I never bothered to check it out and see how it went.
His competition was not top tier, very obviously, but he went out, was able to say that he did an MMA fight, and he was able to pick up a win on the amateur level because he was an amateur. CM Punk never had an amateur fight.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
And the only fight that I've ever heard that he was in, he got into a fight with Teddy Hart where Sabu had to pull Teddy Hart off of him at a Waffle House.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's the only fight that I've ever heard of him getting into, and he didn't win.
And then he wanted to go to the top of the UFC ranks.
Yeah, and then he wants to go to the UFC. So, he set himself up to fail so hard. He was in a great camp. Like, Rufus Sport is a great camp.
And everybody says
one of the one of the best wrestlers in the world is there in Ben Askren, and several of the best strikers in the world are there. You got the Pettis brothers, just great strikers, great wrestlers. If you want to learn, this is a place to go to learn. But if you're CM Punk and you're 30-something years old and you've just now decided you want to get into MMA, you probably would go there and take an amateur fight. Or if you're gonna go professional, go to somewhere like the fucking SFL.
Something,
Go to not the UFC, not even Bellator now. I would declare safe for somebody who's just getting it. Bellator has some sharks. You will get fucking killed.
Really? Yeah, you think it's just an ego thing because he was definitely a top tier wrestler, one of the greatest of all time. I do believe that. You think it's just too much for him to go amateur after being such a huge star?
I think that would be it. I think it also had a lot to do with everybody's heard that thing he did where he talked to Colt Cabana. I hated that. Like, listening to that was like listening to everybody who's ever just ignored what they're saying. Like, while he's talking, he's fucking up his story.
It changed my opinion of him, of somebody who's a bit of a rebel but to a bit of a whiner. I thought he was rebellious. I mean, I don't mind them standing up to management. I like those stories where guys stand up to management and win. And I like guys when walk away. If you walk, I didn't have a problem when he walked away. I mean, it sucked, but it wasn't the end of the world. There wasn't much more they could do with him. He has.
There was a lot more to respect before he started talking.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And then I was like, you sound like a perpetual teenager, dude. This is a business.
His big thing is just one of the things he kept throwing up is, I never got to main event WrestleMania. Yeah, a lot of fucking people don't. There's not been a lot of those.
You also had the best title run and the most respected title run since they started fucking slapping and throwing the belts around all over the place. That's
exactly.
So to me,
he had a longer title run than like anybody else there in forever, and that counted for nothing because, I didn't get to do WrestleMania. And it becomes that kind of situation. That is the kind of person that he is, where he couldn't take that back seat. He refused to take any back seat, even in a spot where he hadn't earned yet.
Yeah,
in fighting.
And then that really gives you a lot of insight. Why UFC? Why not work your way up to the amateurs?
The thing I was going to bring up that he said in that interview, and this is what gave it away for me, is when he's talking about how he could get sponsors on his shorts.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Okay.
But then Brock shows up and he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
His question to Vince is what gave it away to me. What's the difference between me and Brock?
Well, one guy was in the UFC and one guy wasn't.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that he could come up with is that he had been over in the UFC. And so that's what Punk wanted. He wanted to go and become like a UFC guy and come back and be like, okay, now I can have the things on my shorts and I can do this. And I did everything this person did. He wants to get an acting role too. Remember, he complained about The Rock doing that.
Yeah, I know.
He gave too much of himself away in that interview, in my opinion.
Yeah. He tipped people. But he did win the lawsuit, though. Were you a little surprised about that? I was a little surprised.
Yes, very. I was very surprised he won that lawsuit.
My buddy, Dan on Dave, he's a wrestling guy. He says he didn't believe that story one iota. I mean, I trust his judgment when he thought that CM Punk willfully lied about his conditioning and the way what happened, and he was very sympathetic to that trainer. Which
me too.
But I believe that was the one part of the story I believed. I thought they told him to go out there when he shouldn't have went out there, and I was in the Army, and I did some sports, and that can be the attitude. If people think you're sandbagging when you're not, they could put you in a really damaging, dangerous situation. And I generally believe that story. But Dave talked me out of it. He says, no, he was just being a bitch, right? And it's terrible what he did to this doctor. But then he lost. Then the doctor lost the lawsuit that was WWE backed, from what I understand. What was it a legitimate story, or did they put him in danger? Did they not, or did the jury judge or jury just buy his bullshit story?
Oh, the judge obviously thought so. The way that I saw it is, the guy. This is, on one hand, he will tell you, if I would have walked out and not performed, then they would have fired me, right? Like that's the stance.
Okay.
This is coming from the same guy who literally took over a half a year off from work, and they still hadn't fired him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, with the thing with the marriage? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That is the stupidest shit that I'd ever heard. They did it right before my wedding day. You weren't coming back. What do you care? You had no intention of going back. You hadn't worked in 6 months.
He fucked that story up even worse than that time.
Yeah.
It's even worse than that.
Shit.
Because he'll tell people they fired him on his wedding day without notice.
Okay.
When in reality, from his own mouth, about 2 minutes before, he says, Triple H called me 2 weeks before and tried to talk to me, and I told him I was not interested in talking to him. So riddle me this, everybody. You haven't showed up to work for 6 months. Your boss calls you to talk to him, and you tell him, I'm not interested.
Okay.
How can you feign surprise when you're fired at any time after that?
I don't know. Well, it was his fucking wedding day. I like CM Punk, and I want to like CM Punk. I'm not a hater. I really appreciate,
I don't want to hate him.
No, but at some point you're like, dude, it's still a job, bro.
No, I don't want to hate him. There's obviously talent there, but the reality is I'd rather chew my fucking leg off than do business with that guy. This sounds like a nightmare.
So you just got lucky in that courtroom then, huh? Because Dave had me convinced that it wasn't, but I thought the story might be true. Another thing is wrestlers get treated like dirt. You know that better than I do.
Oh God, yeah. There's also that aspect, but he broke through that.
Yeah, he did.
Well, once you get to that certain level where you can ditch work for 6 months and you're good, I promise you're in a good spot, bud. They were treating you all right. He's still getting checks. He's still getting everything's still coming in. He's doing fine.
That's fucking funny. No, you're right. I never look at it that way.
Everyone glosses over that part of the story. He'll tell you they hit him up 2 weeks before. And he's like, no, I don't want to talk to you.
And they fired him on his, I think he was just going for sympathy points because they know most people that wouldn't understand the situation, or
he absolutely was going for sympathy points. There is so much in talking to people who don't understand wrestling about wrestling.
Yeah, and then he knew he could kind of get away with it.
Exactly. People don't know how all the doctor stuff works. Even at my level, I wouldn't understand how the doctor shit works up in WWE. Sure. So he can put out whatever story that he wants, and then that guy will have to combat it with his story. And that's how all that shit has to play out that way, because people don't know how all this shit goes down. However, when you're giving your story and you're saying they would have fired me if I wouldn't have wrestled this event. Motherfucker, you didn't wrestle 6 months worth of events, and they're still paying you and trying to get you to show up to work.
Yeah. So they happens to come out. Well, I did believe the WWE statement. We didn't know it was his wedding. And
I believe that too.
We didn't know it was his wedding. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. You even showed up for work. They were hoping you'd calm down. That was the hope. That is okay, go blow off your steam. You'll come back, make a big return. Everybody makes money. Everybody's happy. Yeah, exactly. How personally.
That was the goal.
Does he come back? That's the other big question.
Does he come back? I don't know if he'll come. The man's pride. Look at this guy's pride.
Yeah. That's
I could see him doing that all-in shit if all the ticket stuff checks out, because they sold out. But let's be real. A lot of that's going to be scalpers. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I want to believe that an indie show sold out 10,000 seats. But
Yeah.
if
Wow.
if they actually pack that many people in there,
Yeah.
oh, I could believe CM Punk will go out.
Oh man, be nice to see him in one big match. I also gotta wonder what's left. I mean, it's been almost 5 years since he got a WWE ring, and he's getting beat up.
What is he, like
Oh,
37, 38 now?
I think he's 40. I think
He
he's
probably
only
is
70
closer to 40, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's born 78. I think. I could be wrong.
Damn.
I'll check that out right now. I could be wrong. I could be totally off here.
I know Brock's turning 40.
Yeah. Brock's only a year younger.
Like
He's
AJ
39.
Styles is 38.
I was right.
Oh, he's
October, he turns 40. 78, he was born. Brock's only a year younger than me. Right? Brock's pushing 41.
That's the thing with like all the guys that were like, you know, the young up and comers. They're all like 40 now.
Yeah. And the Gen X athlete is on its way out, and it's really hard for me to watch. I got to be honest with you. It's very difficult for me to watch. Like
when you were watching, you were watching Macho Man, Hulk, Warrior. Who are they now? John, Dean, Seth.
True.
It's just guys. Everybody's gimmick is that they're a badass.
Is that a bad thing? Because
that's a horrible thing,
really?
Tommy.
Well, I mean, badass or if everybody's. But I mean, I don't know. Like, you're supposed to be a badass if you're a fighter. I mean, not everybody. Like, I don't know, because like I hate like gimmicks. Like, I'm the Repo Man or fucking Beaver Cleavage or I like.
All right, that shit's bad. That shit is bad.
Okay.
But hit me up with this. All right. What's a better gimmick? I'm a badass named Dean, or undead zombie that has magical powers drawn from an urn, takes MMA classes on a Tuesday, and also shoots lightning bolt from his fingers.
I think that you're talking about the exception to the rule because that's just how good Taker was. I never liked his angle. I just love.
But
Taker.
Does it sound good on paper?
To me, no. So I think this may be coming at it. To me, no. No, and I'm giving you. I'm not just trying to like win the argument. I'm really not.
No, you're right.
I just don't. It's not my bag. It's like, to me, they should be different shades of badasses. Yeah, and they should be different shades of cowards and psychopaths.
Okay,
and,
no,
I mean,
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. All right,
Yeah.
if that's how you look at it,
That's
then
how I
I'm
look at
definitely
it.
with you.
But
Different shades of badassery and cowards.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Cowards. You need that guy who wants to be a badass, but he's
crazy.
not. Ric Flair's that guy.
Yeah. Oh well, he's the greatest. He's another exception. He's the greatest of all time. I think he's better than Hulk.
The crazy guys. You need the crazy guys, the Bruiser Brodies and the Abdullah the Butchers. And you need different body types. Not everybody needs to be shredded up. You need the big giant guy.
I totally agree with you. When you were going through that shit, I felt so bad for you when you were trying to explain that you were built differently depending on whether they wanted you to wrestle as a welter or a a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And like you're trying to defend yourself, and I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. And everybody just like, he's a liar. He lied about his weight or his height, and he lied about it. I was like, no, dude. If he's 6'1", he can't be a cruiserweight. I mean, he's got to be 5'10". He's got to be 5'10". And whether he's 6'1" or 6, it doesn't fucking matter. It matters with the bill.
Wrestling.
Oh god, it was so frustrating. Yeah. I think that's when I started to like it. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. This is.
I remember
bullshit.
The tweet that you sent.
I was so mad. I was so mad.
You could go in wanting me to, and then it's like, okay, I get to see that guy who I don't think I like, and it's oh god, they're making me like him.
Yeah, like they're making especially bullshit because you would explain it logically, reasonably, and stuff like that, and they just. Well, I mean, they're trying to win the argument. Like, what else should I expect? But it wasn't.
Well,
it wasn't like you weren't making sense. I mean, it wasn't like you had trouble expressing it. And then I think you did because you just got frustrated. I don't blame you.
It got to the point to where it's just like, okay, I just want to snatch this motherfucker up out of a chair.
I know that guy's a sick fucker. That guy.
He's a fucking idiot.
God.
But.
Yeah,
that's one of those things that ends up happening when you're trying to explain something to people who don't understand it. That is the thing that helps CM Punk in his own case.
I think that's where you're getting to. I think you're right.
That's how that happens. If people don't understand it, they don't understand it. Like you were saying, the different body type. That's what wrestling is, all the different stuff. You know why CM Punk stood out? Different body type.
Yeah, I know.
You know why nobody is standing out now? Because now they're all the same size as CM Punk.
No, that's true. Oh, that's true. No, because everybody grew up watching him, and now they're all trying to do what he does.
Yeah, they all trick themselves into thinking, okay, this is what a wrestler is now. Okay, now this is what a wrestler is now. What made Kevin Owens stand out? Because he was a little chunky guy.
Yeah, but he could
move. Exactly.
Yeah.
He can move, but he looks different. He's a different guy.
Yeah.
People want to be able to look and see something fucking different. Not every guy needs to look the same.
No, it is.
Like there was a
It's because it's a story, and you need like I'm just thinking of like just comic book characters. My father always
exactly.
said. My father said, "Dude, wrestling's a living comic book, right?" And with
Mm-hmm.
superheroes, and not all the superheroes have the. There is sort of a standard, but there's always the juggernauts. There's always guys that don't even look quite human. I mean, so you do need different types of guys. Absolutely.
That's how I've always
Yeah.
explained it. Like exactly like your dad explained. I shit you not. I
Yeah.
explain it to people. You're not trying to be a fighter. That's not your goal here. You want to be a live action comic book character.
I got you. Yeah.
That's the fights you want. You don't want to have where one move you win. You want to have live action comic book fights.
Mhm.
You want to have over the top character, over the top fight. That's what it is.
I got you.
And people miss it because they think it's like, oh well, this is just MMA but on steroids. But we do this and this, and everybody. I'm supposed to look like a badass, and my gimmick is I'm the baddest man on the planet. Don't do that. It's like look back when you were talking a minute ago when you brought up the different kinds of badass. Like the thing that stands out to me, like I can name a badass character from back in the. Do you remember Reno in WCW?
No. Oh.
Okay.
Was that
Well,
the
his
guy
character was the.
with
Go ahead.
Kevin. He was with Kevin Nash for a short period of time, or I'm trying to.
He might have ended up joining like New Blood with like Kevin Nash or something, but his gimmick is he was a badass and he had a ponytail coming out of the back of his head.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking him up. I'm looking him up right now because it might be something I can see on site. Reno,
All right, now
R-E-N-O?
see, you've had to look him up. All right, now check this out. Do you
right.
remember Norman Smiley?
Of course.
Okay. Was Norman Smiley a badass?
No.
Exactly.
I'm sure he was.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was.
Oh yeah, in real life he is. Yeah, he's a legit bad. Norman Smiley whooped somebody's ass.
Yeah, right.
But his character that he portrayed
kind of gay.
Exactly.
He's kind of gay.
You remember the characters, but
Yeah.
every dude walking out trying to say he's a fucking badass, that shit,
That's
it's
a
all
problem.
gray.
Yeah.
That all just fades to gray. Don't nobody care.
Yeah. No. I mean, when I say different shades, I suppose like who's the Arab wrestler? He almost won the cruiserweight. Like he was a different kind of. He was tough. He went to the ring. He was
Ari Davari?
No, yeah, I think the guy just recently lost the cruiser, or he went to the final. I think he lost the cruiserweight final. That black dude, who I think they just fired.
Swan.
You could tell he was tough. He's tough in the ring, but he was a good guy tough, and I like that kind of. You don't necessarily. He wasn't a bad guy tough. He's a good guy tough.
Fighting babyface.
Yeah, fighting baby. So look, I'm American Arab, and I'm doing this for my country, my people, my religion. Here's my mom, and I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna prove to you that I'm cool. I'm gonna prove to you that you're gonna respect me. And then he goes out and he's a great worker. I mean, all the cruiserweights at the WWE level are tremendous workers.
They gotta cut them loose a little bit more, and they'll get a lot more fans. But yeah, they're all great.
No, they're all really fancy. Oh, what do you think of Gallagher? Or not Gallagher, the guy with the mustache. Because some of the
doesn't he have the mustache? The redheaded kid with the mustache?
Yeah, he's an English guy, but he has a Gallagher. What do you think of him? Yeah, here's another guy I'll never forget. Now that this kind of plays into the way you're talking about. His name's Gallagher. He's English. He looks Irish though. He's got real pale skin like Liam. Yeah.
Red twirly mustache, comb over. Now he wrestles, I think, in a suit. The last thing somebody showed me.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's got the whole mustache thing going on.
The umbrella gimmick and everything. It's different.
Yeah, he's a tremendous worker, and he does not have a killer looking body. He's in great shape, but he's not all shredded up. And I love watching. When Gallagher and when they had that because I still haven't canceled the network yet. They had that UK Championship tournament. When he came out, and
he put on a hell of a show. I did watch. I watched some of that tournament.
Lord Alpha.
I don't remember a lot of the names, but those were some really fucking impressive guys.
It's really sad because I hope you don't get offended when I say this, but I think they're doing better things training-wise in the UK than we are. I think they're outdoing us.
I think they all, as far as like wrestling and technical, they always have guys like William Regal, Dave Taylor, Finley, all those guys. They've always been like that.
But they can't sell the big ticket, I guess. Well, Finley
it isn't that they can't. Finley got he got a nice mid card run. Same thing with Regal, and Regal was probably going to hit the world title at some point, but he there was a hiccup with some drugs. And stuff.
I know.
but they've always
he looks
been that
healthier.
good.
He looks healthier now than he did 10, 15 years ago. He
He
great.
does.
Yeah, I know. He looked
The older he
fucked up
got,
back then. Yeah, the better.
the older he got, the better looking the dude got.
Yeah,
He grew his hair out. He looks a lot younger. Looks a lot happier.
Do you remember back in like the Attitude Era when he would wrestle and his lips would turn purple? Whenever he wrestled.
I always thought he just looked sick.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it's some English, Irish people, they have very, very pale complexions, right? I mean, I have some of it too. Not as bad as he has it. It's just really, really pale. And I think but I remember watching his lips turn purple, and I said, there's something wrong with that man. And by the time he got to WWE, you knew he had, the way he walked funny when he was in the WWE. Yeah, he was still a great technical wrestler. And he's real close with Stone Cold, from what I understand, too. But you just felt like there's something wrong with him. He's unhealthy, right? I see him wrestle in a match on NXT. His body's not what it used to be, but he looks healthier now. He looks better overall, as far as like in his face is concerned. And I think he wrestled a guy that made the main roster. He had a sort of a
Cesaro?
No, he had a narcissist gimmick. This is in NXT. Regal wrestled somebody in NXT.
His last match was in NXT against Cesaro.
Oh, what? Oh, I didn't know. I gotta go check that one out. I didn't even check that.
Somebody sent that to me. It was a really fucking good match. He cut a really good promo beforehand. It was a good night for Regal.
It's funny with Regal. I said, boy, and I never really had much respect for him as a sports entertainer, as a character, just in the ring. And but I mean, I started looking at this like, why wasn't this guy world champion? And why didn't I notice this 15, 16 years ago? You know, it was so weird. Like, where was
I can add another thing to it.
Yeah.
It's where I was about to go a second ago.
Yeah.
The reason there were only a couple of these British guys before is because the Americans just didn't appreciate it until recently.
That's true.
Now we like to pretend that we're super smart on wrestling and we can appreciate each and every little nuance. So all of a sudden, the British guys are a big deal.
Yeah. What do you think of the Bruiserweight? That's some of the best shit I've seen in my life. Pete Dunne? I love Pete Dunne.
I used to actually know a fucking bruiserweight years ago, and it's the guy who AJ Styles had his very last indie match against. It was a guy named Corey Hollis, went by the bruiserweight for years and years, and then all of a sudden, here comes Pete Dunne, and he just snatched that fucking name up.
That's a great name, boy.
It is a great name.
And he looks the part. He looks like
he does.
Fucking soccer hooligan that's gonna fucking bust your teeth out, right? He just has it down. He can work. He can do it all, and he doesn't have a typical body. He has almost like an amateur wrestling body. You know, like a Greco-Roman.
He looks like he's gonna bruise your ass up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why I hate to break it to you, Corey Hollis. You're never gonna be able to get that name back. He looks a lot more like a bruiserweight than Corey does. Corey, he still looks like a kid. He's almost 30.
Maybe you could call yourself Nature Boy now. Ooh, whoops. Did I say that? Yeah, because a lot of I don't
should have got the original Nature Boy #1, Buddy Rogers. God rest his soul.
I didn't know who the fuck Buddy Rogers was, but I'd always heard that Flair ripped him off, right? And I said, but then I watched.
Well, everybody ripped everybody off.
Yeah, I know, but then I watched a Buddy Rogers match in black and white about a month or two ago, and oh my God, the strut's the same. You know, I started feeling really bad for Buddy Rogers, although he was pretty much a legend himself, I guess, right? But
here's how bad that Ric Flair copied Buddy Rogers. My grandparents, they watched wrestling every single week since they were together.
Yeah,
we're talking like back in the 40s, and they used to go on dates to wrestling shows.
Oh,
they went to one in the 50s. And they saw Buddy Rogers, or 50s and 60s, saw Buddy Rogers. They swear up and down that it was Ric Flair, and that Ric Flair has to be over 100 years old, because when they saw him, he was already old.
He was already in his 40s, probably.
So my grandparents swore, my grandfather until he died, he swore Ric Flair is over 100 years old, and he knows that's the truth. My grandmother will swear to it to this day.
That's funny.
They're convinced. That's how close of a ripoff Buddy Rogers was.
That's so
good. Or he was to Buddy Rogers.
And you just told him, no, Ric Flair ripped the gimmick off.
I've tried many times. They get angry. They would get angry.
Stop the point, bitch.
Just have to let it be. They get serious as hell about that, man. They are not playing.
Yeah, let the old folks have that one. All right.
Let them have it. Let them have it.
There's no way. Oh, that's so funny. England looks like they win 2-1.
2-1.
Well,
at least the other team was able to score.
2-0. 2-0. I put my grats out to the English. I'm not gonna lie, I am sucking up to my English fan base a little bit. You know. But
they've had it rough from what you said before.
Yeah, they did, and it's time. But the thing is, like, I've noticed, like, my Irish fans, like, they don't, like, I'm Irish American, right? I haven't heard from any of them since I've posted these tweets.
I haven't heard from any of them.
I haven't heard from any of them. You know, like, I haven't had one Irish guy call my show since I mentioned. I have a lot of Irish friends, you know, from the internet. I haven't heard anything. But you know what? I'm almost about to say fuck them because I'm only Irish when I fucking say, hey, I hope England wins one, right? Like before that, tell me, you're not really Irish. You're born in America. I was like, no, I know that. I'm of Irish descent. I'm proud of my heritage. You know, I kind of take my heritage. You're not Irish. You might as well not tell anybody. I'm like, hey, go England. Hey, you fucking traitor. Like, you know.
You fucking traitor.
Yeah, you fucking traitor. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what do you care? I did have a Welsh fan, you know, because they're a part of the Celtic family. I did have a Welsh friend. He's a friend and a fan. And he contacted me. He goes, are you really rooting for England? And I said, yeah, because I'm sick of fuckers Europeans like you saying I'm not Irish. You know?
England won't give me that shit.
Yeah.
They'll let
me come over. They don't give a shit. They're not going to dump on me.
The crowd in the chat goes wild.
You're Irish like I'm Italian. I'm of Irish descent. And so are you, Luca. You're of Irish descent. There's nothing wrong. And I tell you something else. After living over here, I'm glad I'm Irish American. I don't know if I'd be too proud to be Irish. You know what they say? That's a luck of the Irish. You know, it's a goof. It's like it's like calling a tall guy shorty. You know, it's just kind of funny. You know.
Yeah, it's that good old you know Irish sobriety, the Hawaiian temper.
Yeah.
People just making shit up.
Yes. People bringing religious extremism into Ireland a few hundred years back on that one. Yeah, I guess. They're mostly probably busting my balls. But, I mean, I don't know. Look, Ireland's not in it. States aren't in it. Germany's not in it. You know, they're I don't know. They're like the last white team left, man. And Sweden's practically not white anymore. Come on, give me a break. I root for Irish boxers because they're Irish. Why can't I root for the white team? You know?
Boxers.
Why can't I root for the white team? You know, I mean, like
I'll back the boxers, all right?
Back the boxers, you know? Come on. People root for their ethnicity all the time and shit, and they're the closest one left to mine, you know? I mean, yeah, I'm not.
It's okay unless you're white.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of okay. Well, you know what? Sometimes if you just stand by and say, you know what? You can fuck off. A lot of people back all these like, because the instant response is what? Well, I'm not racist. I just want England to win because, you know, I'm of English heritage. Nah, it's only because they're white. If you just, like, fire back and say, if you just fire and say, man, fuck off, I'll root who I want, a lot of those guys back off. You know, I go, you wouldn't call me a racist because I'm hoping England wins because, you know, they're from they're the closest part of Europe from where my family descends from. Man, fuck you. I don't got to root for Colombia. I don't got to root for some Asian team. I don't know, you know. Maybe in the
just not allowed to root for a team because you happen to be of the same ethnicity. Meanwhile, Cain Velasquez has brown pride across his chest, and nobody cares.
And you know what? I'm cool with having brown pride. I'm not.
I am too.
Cool. Be cool. I mean, I saw your hashtag. I saw your hashtag. I thought it was cool. I stand with the red man. You know, like I thought that was cool. You know, I thought that was Tommy Calanot. I'm getting shit from the Irishmen in the chat. The fuckers, I swear to God.
Hey, they came back.
It's a simple, the color. This is like a David, Kerr's last name. It's simple, man. I support whatever country is playing against England. You're like, God, I want to see them win one. Fuck it. God, they invented the game.
One.
They invented the game. Hey, look, if they lose and fuck this up and it's funny, I'll goof on them if it makes you feel any better. You know, but I hope they win. You know, that's all. Who's left? I'm not rooting for Belgians. Fuck that shit. I don't know what a Belgian is.
I don't need this waffle shit in my life. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, look,
I don't need it.
Under the right circumstances, let's say fucking Iraq snuck into the final, right? I would probably pull for them because they're such a fucking underdog, and I have a short connection. I had to spend 8 months there, and in those circumstances, I'd probably pull for them over England. You know, like, wow.
Well, from broken country to winners of the World Cup, that would be some shit.
It'd be the greatest story ever. Who would want to be a part of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like that would be badass. But it's just, I don't think I should have to apologize to my Irish. I definitely shouldn't have to Irish. I'm not apologizing to Irish Americans. Apologizing to Irish Americans. I'm certainly not fucking apologizing to Euro Irish fuckers. You're always mean to me. Stop being mean to me. Maybe I'll start rooting against England.
He'll consider it.
I'll consider it. That's right. Root for Iraq. You have no shame, sir. Well, under the right circumstances, they're not an enemy country. It's not fucking Iran. I mean, did you get why? It would be nice, I don't know, maybe the fact that I spent a little time over there did a fucking good job. They became a normal country. It'd all been worth it instead of I waking up every day. He's like, that trip to Iraq was a big fucking waste of time and kind of dangerous. I mean.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I just saw who said, it's Tennessee Marie. He went over there, too. Marie, Tennessee Marie, you should have, if they won, you could root for him, too.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the guy.
Clean it up a little bit.
Tennessee, I'm not talking about the guys you fucking shot. I'm talking about the guys who are trying to help, The problem is those infantry guys, and believe me, I don't blame them. If he's an infantry guy, because that's what he sounds like, I don't blame them because they had to deal with so many scumbags. It's difficult to tell the good people from the bad people. I was on the FOB, so it's a little different. I have a different perspective of it. They just think Iraq, everybody's Iraqi. I'm talking about, what about those translators that risk their lives and shit to try to get their country right? I mean, that's the way I was looking at it. But those guys have a different perspective because they were doing the dirty work, so I'll forgive them. But I think it would be cool. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to go to Iraq like you would go to England? It'd be great, right? Now he's laughing.
Yeah, Tennessee's a good dude.
It's like, well, because he's probably killing those motherfuckers, and that's how he can't get that out of his head. But
he just said, "I will be petty until I die."
Root for Iraq, you have no shame. It depends. It's not life and death. It's just sports. You can be happy for people. That's what I'm saying. Right?
To me, sports, they've always been little. I want to say Band-Aids for a country, but it's not necessarily Band-Aids. It's almost it's kind of like a fruit basket for a country sometimes, because it's it doesn't fix anything for real. It doesn't have anything that helps.
Absolutely not.
But even in a town, if a town has just shitty everything, you see this small town rally around a football team all of a sudden if they're going to
especially down south, even if it's a high school team, it's a big deal.
Sports can be one of the best distractions from almost everything, and it can bring people together for something even when it feels like there's not anything to come together for.
No, there's some truth in that. And sure, well, I'll give you a perfect example. It was the 1980 Olympics. People were really down in the States, gas lines, the whole fucking nine. Russia gets beat. This NHL All-Star team, essentially, and a team that had beaten NHL All-Stars gets beat by a bunch of college kids. Only one would go on to have an NHL career, in 1980. That brought people together, That the Russians are basically cheating. They said, well, we don't have professional athletes. And they had guys in the team that were 32 years old going up against college kids, that were not hardened veterans of a world-class sport yet. And fucking the Americans found a way to beat them. And that was just jaw-dropping, situation. So I think that's what you're talking about. And you watch any documentary on the 1980 Olympic hockey team, it'll blow your fucking mind.
That's the one of the miracle?
Yeah, that is the greatest sports upset of all time, I think. Yeah. In my opinion. I tell you something. If the Las Vegas would have won the Stanley Cup this year, I think they would have been right up there. What they did this year was amazing. And an expansion team went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And was a dominant team throughout the entire season. I think they had home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup.
There's all kinds of little instances. I remember one year Hawaii, their college team, just out of nowhere goes undefeated and actually makes it to a bunch of bowl games, and it was a huge deal for all those people.
Oh man!
And you realize that it doesn't have to mean real world anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to, but it's something for people to wake up and look forward to, and people don't understand how important that is. People need a reason to get up and look forward to something. They need a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what it is.
Sure, that's probably why you got into wrestling in the first place. You wanted to be that guy to tell that story,
Well,
I would imagine that's why or be that bad guy. I don't know. I would have wanted to be a bad guy.
I don't know if I got to be a bad guy as much as I would have wanted to. That
Really?
does irritate me a little bit. I probably would have liked to have portrayed a heel.
I know I have a really punchable face, and I'm really obnoxious. I think I would have been a great manager. But they don't use managers anymore.
No, they don't. They do on an indie level. There is that.
But I
yeah,
think,
on an indie level, they still got him.
I think I'm tough enough to learn how to bump, right? To learn it correctly, and then because Heenan's one of my, I think he's just an influence on me overall, and I think I could have been a different type of more modern sort of Generation X asshole, and get guys. I think I could get guys over. I really thought I could do that, but wrestling came to me too late. Like by the time I got smart and could have done that, I just wasn't in a position to go to wrestling school.
A lot of people will get to that. They're in a different position in life where they're like, well, I'm too old.
Yeah.
People don't know this, but some people know this, but like DDP, he never wrestled until he was like 32.
I know. Oh, I know that, but I mean, don't you think?
And then
he's
like
an
Dave
exception?
Batista was like 30, 31 before he ever even went to wrestling school.
I didn't know that. How old is
Yeah.
he? He's older than me. Batista's
He'll be 50 this year.
Get the fuck. Oh, he really started late.
Yeah.
Well, he's so lucky he got that big push because he came in with.
Well, originally he wasn't going to get such a big push.
wasn't?
He came in, he was going to be Deacon Batista and be like
Yeah.
Ivan Dudley's fucking manager.
It didn't
And
work.
then he went and worked out with Triple H one weekend, and all of a sudden he's a very big deal. And Mark Jindrak just lost his spot in Evolution. What happened?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right, Mark. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know any of that. So Jindrak was originally. That's right. Oh shit.
Oh, there's videos for it where like they had filmed
I
the skits and everything.
I think I'm leaving, joining the army at that point. I think it's the 2003-4 era. That's when I'm losing. I don't have time. I was just training.
Depending on how bad the army went, your back probably is very grateful for your choice.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of guys are, they're really messed up. But I mean, even a manager, and no one's gonna respect you if you're like known for being a heel manager. They don't give a shit if you're fucking hurt. They're like, good. It's like, wait a minute. It was
Go get another bump.
It was an act. It was an act. Yeah, the one people, hey, do that again. I don't know. You didn't even care. I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do it for if you don't even care?
That became the worst spot of the fucking indies. Is
being a manager?
All right, not just being a manager, but in your head you're like, okay, I just got to hit that one big thing that WWE or somebody else sees. Right, that's all I got to do. I got to hit that one big spot. So you hit that big spot, hurts like hell.
Yeah.
Oh God, never gonna have to do that again. Glad it's on film. Well, guess what? WWE might not have seen it, but everybody else did.
That's true.
And now they're booking you, and they're willing to pay you money, but they want you to do that again.
No.
And so it just keeps. Yeah, that's the cycle that you get stuck in. Yeah, you made the right call.
I made the right call. It would.
That's what most get stuck in. WWE won't see it.
I don't think I would be. I don't think I'm as passionate. I love wrestling and everything, but I'm probably not as passionate as you. And I think you gotta. I mean, all the guys they're willing to live and die for it. And if you're not, I wanted to be the best manager I could be. I don't know if I wanted to transfer to the social environment, which is a lifestyle. If I could imagine. To the wrestling lifestyle. I don't know if I'd ever want to. I'm not a secret knock club guy. I don't like cliques. It's not my bag.
God, I hated that. Have you ever heard of the special handshake?
No, I have not. Is there a special handshake?
Yeah. In a lot of different places, depending on where you are, you have to do different handshakes with people. Like, there's a lot of spots, just shake somebody's hand like a man and you're good. However, there's a bunch of other spots where you do this really fucking gay little, like 2-finger, like, jiggle your fingers together kind of thing.
Yeah. And what do you do? Just you go up.
That's the fucking handshake, Tom. You put 2 fingers out. You just like jiggle your fingers.
Yeah. Can I hang out with you now?
Hold on. All right. Just hold them together.
Okay.
You like hold them together. All right. And you just like put them against the other 2 fingers, and you're shaking the 2 fingers up and down.
I don't want to do that.
Like that's the handshake.
I don't even like doing this right now. I feel weird.
Oh, it's the worst. I hate that shit so much. Because it's like, okay, everybody's manly men. We're badasses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's our Tinkerbell handshake real quick. Get the Tinkerbell out of the way. That's what I always called it, the Tinkerbell. I don't know what people actually call it, but it's the worst.
But you got to do it. I mean, I know about being in an environment like that, though. I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to fucking
Next time you talk to a wrestler, ask them about their cringy little handshake.
Yeah.
They're going to look at the ground because they all know it's cringy. We all hate it. Nobody will say anything.
Why won't they say anything?
Because they all think it's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, what are you going to... You're going to be the first one to come in and bucket and change it? This is the secret club, you shithead. I thought you wanted in. Like that's how everybody acts. Like you want it, so you do the little handshakes and like
That's fucking
God, it's
crazy.
not for me.
Oh man. All right, man. I think it's time for another break. That was
Yeah.
fantastic. What's going on? I actually cut out the chat for a second. I apologize, guys. I don't know. I just realized that I don't know if any of you guys subscribed. I just realized something. I didn't set it up on and this is my mistake. What is it? The sponsorships.
You didn't
I
get
don't
your
know
subscribe notification.
No, I forgot to do. I just forgot. I didn't know I had this, and then I forgot. And then I found out I had it, and then I forgot about it. So, and this channel is really for the hardest of the hardcore. You know what I mean? No one's showing up to. I mean, at least I know you don't like Destiny, but at least he's. I mean, he was good. You know. He's a good player. He's a good player. You know, he made the big.
He is good. He is very good at video.
Yeah, he is really good at video games, right? That's.
I can give him that.
Why didn't you pull the minority card when you were arguing with him? Make him put him in a real bad spot.
Well, if like you ever go back and like hear it, I didn't want to talk to him. Fucking,
Oh really?
like it was like Andy just brought him on the stream, and I was like, he was like, so what do you want to talk about? I was like, I don't want to talk to you. Fucking get away, get out of here.
Yeah, that's it. Andy had a habit for doing that. Are you okay with Andy now?
Oh God, I'd fucking rather chew my arm off to talk to Andy.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him.
I know you don't hate him, but
yeah, I don't bury him. He bury like I heard that like he buries me. I don't care. Fucking.
You don't care if he buries
problem.
you?
No, like it's when you're in a spot like you. Andy is a person who thinks like internet wise. He is an internet guy.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm just not that guy. And all that I see when I think about that kind of stuff is I'm looking at a guy who last year MTV was shaking in their fucking boots at the videos you were putting out at their shit.
Yeah.
I guarantee you MTV doesn't give a shit about anything you're doing now.
No.
And that ain't nobody else's fault.
No, it's not. And no, it's God. Wait a minute. Wait. Andy had looks from MTV. I mean, like.
Yeah, he was going after that Franny girl who was doing the MTV decoded stuff. He would put out his videos that would squash hers constantly.
That's right.
MTV is hitting.
He did a really good job. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was shredding her, and MTV comes like he contacts with him. He had an agent. Like Andy was making moves.
Yeah.
Like I would like to think he could still make moves eventually, but what he's doing now, he's not gonna make any fucking moves with that.
No way.
It's
I mean,
just,
it's like why sell out to JF? Like of all fucking people, like what's up with that? I mean, you know, I'm not gonna sit there and get on my social justice high horse, but why deal with somebody like that? I mean, I can understand him putting him on, letting him talk, make him make a jackass of himself, but why sell your entire channel down the JF thing? Like it could never was.
My thing with JF is always been a weird one because like I don't know that much about him. Like I didn't know like
he doesn't think you're human. You know that, right? He doesn't believe you're human. He thinks you're like a subhuman.
Dude, I don't think he's human. I think he's a very defective robot. It doesn't know its asshole from its elbow. So I mean, we're on the same level.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
yeah, I guess that doesn't
like
bother you.
When I like that, yeah, that's another. Like I would talk to racists all the time. People are like, "Oh, well, you know, this person's a racist." Like, yeah, at least they're honest about it.
Yeah, well,
fucking like I can deal
that
with an honest racist.
Yeah, I guess. But I could deal with an honest racist that are irritated by natives or irritated by blacks. Or I could deal with them, but not ones that want to do shit. And JF
like eradicate me.
Yeah, like no. Once it goes to that level, like you know, I could deal with the guy like, you know what, I don't like black people, and that's just the way it is. I ain't gonna say shit to them. They ain't gonna say shit to me, and that's the way it's gonna be. Okay, fine. You're missing out, dude, because not every black guy is like, you know, the guy that robbed you a couple years ago. But whatever. If that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. All right. Okay, that's cool. But it's. I could deal with them and just kind of think they're assholes. JF wants to make moves. Like that's the goal. Make moves. And I do have a problem with that.
The people who want to make
I
moves,
hate taking
look at him. It's a person like a JF.
Mhm.
JF can't even make moves in his own chat. All right. JF can't handle his Twitter, he can't handle his chat. How the fuck is he gonna handle the real world and actually get anything done?
Well, he hasn't.
But
He's failed in the real world. He got thrown out of school. You know, he's a legit
exactly.
doctor. He's obviously not stupid. You know, but I mean, he's a social retard. I mean, you know, Andy. He really owes Andy a lot. But I mean, I think he was more the
He does.
He owes Andy a lot. But I mean, the two personalities, I'd have to say JF is much more interesting. Not just because of his views, it's just the way he talks, his background, everything. It's just much more.
There's a lot more
story.
controversy to JF. There's just a lot more to it. Whereas Andy kind of keeps himself as this kind of clear palette. It can be wiped away and have something rewritten very quickly.
Which is fucking fake as fuck. I mean,
It's not good, no.
No, I don't want to bash. I don't want to get in a fight or anything.
Yeah.
I am very, very upset with him. I've made that abundantly clear. Because I looked up to him, because I was so honored when he came to me last summer and said, "Do you want to be on?" He came to me. It was a big deal when I got the you know, because I'm in bad shape. You know, I'm 6 months out of beta. Things aren't really going anywhere. I'm getting paid pretty well, right? I mean, the hardcore base is nobody new's coming in. You know, Andy Warski comes to me, and I see the Warski Live thing behind him, and he reaches out to me, and he works, and then he gets me on, and I thought it was a decent interview, you know, and then this whole fucking thing happens, you know, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? I understand we weren't best friends in the fucking world, but you didn't have enough. He had zero problem with me getting fucking caught up with that shit and dying and withering away. Whatever I had left, he was well willing to see it go away and say, "Oh well," and put me in the fucking like kraut folder. And that's why
there's a bunch of people who got thrown in that fucking Kraut folder.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of stuff that, like, a few weeks ago, I had a bunch of people who were friends with Kraut come on.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up coming down, and this is with people who were for and against Kraut coming. Like, the man who leaked everything out of Kraut's server came on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, that wasn't a doxing server."
No,
I was like, "What the fuck?"
This stuff's coming out real soon. I think it hasn't circulated enough, but I think there's more of that coming real soon.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I haven't seen everything already, so I haven't officially said that to any of my fan base. But yeah, you're hearing it here first. The accusation does not appear to be true at all. So when I said, look, I said Kraut fucked up, and I'm staining because the internet will deal with him and they will set the punishment. But it turns out like that isn't even true, and that shit's coming. It's gonna all get straightened out real fucking soon. And
like, what bothers me about it is that I know that all these people who said all of this shit and made all of these videos and did all of these things, they were allotted this information from the people who leaked it, and the people who leaked it were on the stream, and they even said, "No, it was not a doxing server." And so I'm like, well, the people who said all this shit, they know that too, but they said it anyway.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean for stuff? Does that mean that it just makes it to where like there's not a trustworthy person among most of this entire group, and all it's done is just shown to where nobody's gonna buy into most everybody anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Because now on both sides they feel like people are just lying to them about stuff. Kraut hasn't said anything, which has been to his detriment. I think if Kraut would have came out like back when all this first drops and just says, "No, it's not a doxing server. Someone come in here with proof it's a doxing server," and no one could present it, I think that would have done leaps and bounds to mitigate a lot of damage.
I think Kraut got spooked though. I mean, I don't think.
I believe so too.
I don't think that. I don't think he knew how to handle that. I mean, I was.
There was a real loud bunch of people calling for his head. I believe it.
But I talked to him with the first thing with the, and that's when the first kind of funny feeling in my stomach with Warski when the rage was right stream. I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of here, right?
All right, the rage was right stream. I remember asking Andy about that. I said, "What does Kraut having a doxing server have to do with rage being right?" When there were a bunch of things that she said that were demonstrably false.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said in the stream, but I shouldn't have done that because I chased her off the internet. Motherfucker, we're the anti-SJWs, bro. When people fucking go and get chased off the internet and fucking cry, we say, fuck them, get out of the kitchen. How come when this fucking little white supremacist bitch does the same thing that she gets a fucking special privilege from you? I mean, what the fuck is that about? That was the first, sick feeling I got about Andy. And then that was
kind of a question I had. That was a question I had later. I didn't think about that one until later on. There were a few events that happened that made me think about previous events that would make me question other things,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of them.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? We when these
Well,
SJWs
it
got
became
called.
it wasn't about the truth, man. It's about
Uh,
appeasing people. It's about seeing if you can rile them up and get them to where they're more on your side.
but then you got
See if
JF
they'll
there.
throw
You're
more
you're
money at
you're
you.
mixing up with the wrong people. I mean, if it's just like if it's just like a kayfabe wrestling fans, that one thing we're talking about white nationalists. This is a whole different ball of wax here. We're talking about
Bam.
bad motherfuckers, like
No,
seriously
that's
bad
the thing.
motherfuckers.
That's where it
you know?
becomes a cudgel.
You know.
When it goes from being like just the thing that people are doing to where it becomes a cudgel, and that's when it became a cudgel.
Yeah.
It became a cudgel to beat on Crowd. It became a cudgel to beat on B. It becomes a cudgel to beat on Sargon. People just wanted to use it as a cudgel to go at whoever they didn't happen to
Well,
like
you know,
at the
and
time.
I think that's why I came back at you guys so hard. I was like, Ian, you're not putting me in the same position Crowd is. This is not happening. I am not without a fight. You know?
No, I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And that's and a lot of miscommunication called in. I mean, if I think you know what, honestly, if fucking Geek Thulu doesn't call me and doesn't, because apparently he got information that I was involved with that lawyer, that I was involved with things. The only thing I ever did was interview Repsion. That was it. Beginning, end. The whole thing's a comedy act. I laugh at these. I laugh at fucking. What's her
Geek
name?
Thulu he's just an ass blasted, overly dramatic child.
So he
Like-
comes at me with shit that he goes like, did you ever talk to I forget the guy's name he used. I was like, and I thought he meant Danny. I thought he meant Repsion. I was like, and I just thought he didn't know Repsion's real name. And I'm like, yeah, but I interviewed him like 6 months ago, and what the fuck's like this is about? And I'm like, you're not making any fucking sense to me. And then I didn't realize until after I hung up on him that there was rumors going around that this reporter and this lawyer who completely fucked this thing up 6 ways to Sunday, where somehow I got dragged into that. And Andy didn't, it's like you said, Andy didn't care if it was true or not. He didn't check with me and say, did you say this, that, and the other thing? And I say, no. He just says, oh, by the way, JF says you're wrong. The fuck? Isn't he a white nationalist? Like, what do I care? You know?
What would JF have to say you're wrong about?
I guess because they thought that I said she was an anti-vaxxer or whatever the fuck. I said she was a nut, and I was right then, and I was right now. She's a nut. She's a fucking nut. You know, that's all I ever said, that she was a nut. And the stuff I was doing with the family had nothing to do. I had never made public. I had never made public any of my contacts with the family. I had never dealt with anybody on that side. I had just talked and given PR advice that they honestly didn't take. I'd gotten PR advice that they honestly didn't take. I nixed an interview, which would have probably got me a lot more hits and attention, because I thought that if I'd done that, because the family had been, CPS apparently threatened the family, said they would take the kids back if they went to the media. So I said, let's hold off. And then the kids went back without me, and I said, nope, we're cutting the interview completely. And the guy was like, why? And I'm like, because
why risk it?
You won. You know, but he was getting caught up in the internet fame game. He was getting caught up in the, and I said, no, I'm not doing it. Guess what he does? He unfollows me on Twitter.
He got that mad about it.
Yeah. So, but did I say shit? Did I do anything? Did I make a federal case about it? No. You know why? Because I really did give a fuck about those kids. Not fucking trying to go SJW about it. I gave a fuck. That's the God's honest truth. I didn't say that. And then all of a sudden, I get a fucking DM from Joy. I want to go on your show now. I've been vindicated. I go, have you? Well, have you? Great. I didn't even answer it, right? I just screenshot it and took it to, and then sent it to the other guy that unfollowed me. I said, look, Joy's at it again. Just keep an eye on her. That motherfucker posted DM, right? And that sends Joy's fans into a fucking outrage. Now it's the Warski. Now it's the Kumite. Now I got this bearing down on me. And I didn't have shit to do with shampoo for some reason. And I don't know where it was, because I didn't listen to all your streams. At 3 hours apiece in some situations, sometimes 5, you know?
No, there's some that are way longer. No,
yeah, some of them way longer. Somehow, whatever people you were dealing with, and they were morons, right? I was a part of that, because I interviewed Repsion 5 months earlier. And Repsion's left the internet, by the way. He's gone. I don't know if it's over this. I don't know if he just got sick of it. I don't know if because I know he has a real job now. That's all this came down to. Like, none of this was necessary. And I told Andy, and I played the fucking voice clip on the stage. I told Andy, like, and I talked to him because I thought we were on the same team. If you listen to that podcast that me and Andy did, he was agreeing with me the whole time. Like, something's going to happen. My prediction was Joy would flip on that family once the fucking story ran its course. 100% happened. So I saw Andy. It's like, dude, we saw this coming. You know, I don't want to go on. I think it puts me in a bad spot. I've been telling this family fuck off, and I don't think it helps the kids. That's all I'm about here. And then he goes on blast me publicly.
Mm-hmm.
I was nothing to him, and not even that. He knew how I felt about him, and there's videotape of him. I know how to get him on, right? And I saw the video. At that same time, he was writing me, I was always good to you. You stabbed me in the back. He was like, I'm like, Andy, what? It actually happened on the arcade, by the way. It actually happened on stream here, and I'm looking at this DM live. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, Andy. I was like, Andy. He says, come in here. You know what? Maybe I'll forgive you. Like, come in here. Click on this. We'll straighten it right now. Joy, I don't know if it was you. I think it was Joy and you were waiting for me. I don't know if it was you. It was Joy and you, because I didn't hear your voice.
I know that I was in a thing once where Andy's like, I'll get Tommy in here.
That was it.
Why
That
are
was
you
it.
getting
That
Tommy?
was a fucking setup. It was a fucking setup. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to look like a jackass. The only thing that I could blame Andy, I did not tell him that I told the family not to stay off of social media. Right? That's the only thing I didn't tell him. I just said to him, I don't think it's good for the kids. And to him, that was just like a cop-out. And what am I copping out of? I've never said she was an anti-vaxxer. I never said any of that shit. I never made any proclamation. I just said she was nuts. And that was an observation. You know, I mean, that's
that's
fucked up. And now I got...
I've even said she's wacky as hell.
Yeah.
I said that to her. She is wacky as hell.
Whack the fuck out. So, the thing is like, oh, wow, they're going to do to me what they did to crowd. No, I'm fighting. Fuck it.
No, don't blame
that's
you.
what happened. And that's what happened. And everybody's everybody's coming to me like, oh, you would love Tonka. He's a great guy. I was like, I don't trust him. What the fuck's going on with this shit? You know, I mean, really put me on my heels. Who the fuck is...
Don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you do seem like a fucking good guy, and I don't wish anybody ill on the internet, man. Make money. You know, but it was just like, everybody, we're having this fucking intense conversation. You guys talking about a World Cup, man. What the fuck? This is historic.
England won! It's fucking...
England won. I don't give a fuck. But all right, that's really the beginning and the end of my story, and I'm glad the whole thing's fucking over, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I'm not happy.
I would come and try to like.
I'm not happy that you and Failure got hurt in this whole thing. I'm not happy about it. I don't feel, and I'm not even happy that it happened to Worski, but I don't feel bad for Worski.
Yeah. The thing with Worski is like what happened with you in the Joy situation.
Mm-hmm.
That cat Geek Thulu, he likes to shop things around when he thinks they're a great idea.
Yeah.
There's even a recording of him like talking about how he doesn't think Andy's that smart and some shit like that. But he's always in his ear about something. And Joy was his project at that point because pretty sure he was just trying to fuck Joy.
Whoa, pull back. You think Andy Worski wanted to fuck Joy?
No, I think Geek Thulu was trying to fuck Joy, so he's running around trying to shop Joy Sparkle to everybody to try to get her. Like, that's why Geek Thulu was so invested in her. When she rebuffs his advances, you'll notice they're not friends anymore. This op was kind of exposed by a dude named Ouija, who went on a stream and tore Geek Thulu, one of the most bodacious new assholes you have ever seen.
You guys not buddies? Are you guys not buddies anymore?
Who, Geek?
I heard a video that leaked. He was talking about you, and it was critical of you, but he didn't hate you. He even said, like, I really like Tonka. I think he's a great guy, you know? And
that was when he was ass hurt that I left his fucking Discord because he's doing these really cringy ops, like trying to, like, troll boards and shit. I'm like, dude, piss off. You're going to do that? Go do that over there. When you're done being a retard, I'll talk to you later. And he took that really bad. So bad, in fact, that now that's where everything kind of ends up going where it's going. Like, he stays in Andy's ear like, Tonka's just using. He's like, dude, whatever.
Oh, really?
Whatever. That's why Geek Thulu's on all of his shows now, telling him exactly what to think and say.
Oh, my God.
Like, I don't watch it because I can't watch it.
Like, Geek is not, I mean, I'm trying to be total fucking dookie, but it's not like he has a big sub count or anything, you know? I mean, he doesn't have a lot of, you know, I mean, you did much better than he did, you know? I mean, why is he giving anything?
I did better than he did, and I wasn't trying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't get what the draw would be to Geek, but he's very close with Andy. Andy trusts him. Andy trusts his judgment. That's on him.
All right.
That's on him.
I know, because I'm going to re-release that video when I hung up on him. And I'm going to do a play-by-play on how he fucked up. I was going to do it before I went on vacation, so look for that.
No,
I'm doing a clip on
I don't
that.
blame.
It's funny. But I don't really hate the guy or anything, and just think that it makes more sense that like maybe maybe just somebody wanted to did he just want to bang that chick,
I'm pretty sure that was Geek's gimmick. He wanted to bang Joy Sparkle, so Joy Sparkle's getting shopped around. Andy will listen or whatever. And I just saw, all right, she has a big sub count. There's a big issue that has to do with her. I needed a show that day, and I'm not that up on what happens in the internet.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what all was going on.
I only know it was going because I only knew it was going on on my end and like the Keemstar end and shit like that. I mean, that was my world, and I do try to help people from time to time, and I don't do it just to fucking float my boat. I mean, I don't always succeed, by the way. I had a kid. We look like I'll just go to this because it's never been totally resolved. I had a kid that came to me. He convinced me that his parents were going to kill him for religious reasons. And
holy shit.
Yeah, and he didn't listen to me. I told him not to go to the goddamn. This is the first time I'm talking about this. He didn't listen to me. I said, don't go to school if you're gonna go to the cops. He said, you got two choices: you live under his rules, or you go to the cops. Because I'm getting pictures of him getting fucked up. I got guys looking at these pictures. They saying they're not photoshopped, right? And I said, I got a moral responsibility here. So he goes to school, and because he's a minority, they pretty much gave him back to his parents. I took down the names of the cops involved, everybody that were fucking involved in this shit. Everybody. Just in case something happens to this fucking kid. Because I was getting convinced that this kid was on for real. Well, didn't work because I haven't heard from him. I do look for his name in the state that he's from to see if anything happened, whether he's missing. His name's never popped up, thankfully. But he has disappeared from the internet altogether. Altogether. Out of nowhere. And he told me that this might be it. Yeah.
At the least, probably took away his ability to use the internet.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he needed to go directly to the cops. He didn't. He went to school because they were going to be like, if it was me, because I'm white, they would have snatched me right away from my parents. They wouldn't have thought a fucking thing. In most cases, they wouldn't have thought anything of it. But he's a minority, so it's a little different. And we got the religious problem on top of it. I don't know what happened to him. I really hope. I do look for his name. I have all the information, and if I find out anything happened to him, I hate taking L's.
You have all your stuff saved up.
I think. Oh yeah. I'll because I have a lot of time in my hand doing this job. I'll put those people's names out there. If this kid's dead or hurt, I'll put this cop's name
fuck
out
yeah.
there. I'll put this guy. I don't have a problem with that. If I find out, hopefully maybe CPS took him out of the system. And said you got to leave. So that means you need new ID, new everything. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened, and hopefully I'm wrong. Video capture device. Okay, hold on a second.
It's wild when the best case scenario is hopefully he's in witness protection.
Yeah, or something like I'm. Anything was better than. Anything that's better was what's going on, and and the other part of it is there's always just is this guy jobbing me, Is this a kid that's just mad at his dad or some horse shit, But yeah.
Just taking him for a ride on it.
Doesn't always work. That's what I'm saying. Try to help people. Doesn't always work, That's it.
The worst part is you want to help somebody, but you end up making things worse.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. But I was conscious of that going in. I don't think I did make anything worse, but there was definitely a possibility where I really fucked up, But I talked to my dad. I said, "What do I do? Should I go to the cops?" He's like, "No, you shouldn't." And I'm like, what if I know what's going to happen? So you don't know this kid from home around. It could be embarrassed. It could be a setup. It could be trying to make you, aren't you saying Keemstar dumps fake stories on you all the time? It's like, no, because you did the right thing. You did the right thing and responsibility. So I go, Dad, what are you telling me? I just got to wait for the kid to die? He says, yes, you do. And I'm like, God damn.
He's not wrong.
No, he wasn't. And that's the thing that's so fucked up. I don't accept that. This is... if I was younger, I would have been like, Dad, I'm doing it anyway. And I probably would have made things worse. But
it's strange that there's only a certain level of help that you can hand out.
And I can give,
situations.
yeah. I wanted to call the newspaper and give the cop's name and the CPS member's name up. But we're talking about an East Coast state that's pretty liberal. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear what I got to say. About
they're not gonna hear
certain religions. No, they're not. You know, they'd rather this kid die. You know, as they complain about violence. You know,
That's the worst. Is that somebody dies because you're so wrapped up in trying to protect some kind of weird. Like I try to not use the term, but like it's a weird virtue signalist kind of thing. I don't get it. It's not helping anyone. Like you can sit there and be like, oh, but I'm doing this because I'm virtuous, but it's not helping anything.
No, it's not helping anyone. No, ever.
Like I know it makes you sound like a swell person and everything, and you're very open and all that good stuff, but people might die. Can you stop?
Yeah, no, it's simply not gonna happen. What are you doing, little buddy?
Oh, he made it back.
Yeah, he made it back. He's right now. There he is. Say hello. Hello.
Hey.
It's I got the red man on. You know that? Big wrestler. He'd love you. You're a wrestler.
You will not see many of me in Germany.
No. Oh, you'd be surprised. They got guys that come here during the spring and they play music. Yeah, they're natives. Sometimes Canadian natives though too. And they sell they go in the street, they set up, they play the music, and usually trying to shill a few CDs. Pizza, great idea. I'm about ready to get off, sweetheart. They're natives. You know.
I did not know about that.
Yeah,
I know that they do like powwow events and stuff around the state. I didn't know that they actually took it international.
Yeah, they have. Oh yeah, I mean, anything like especially the Germans, like anything that's like really foreign and where people have dark skin, they're like immediately attracted to it. They want to know because it's so foreign to them. You know, it's so funny. Like with black guys in the army, they were just even if they were like average looking guys, they just got tons of chick because it's not a guilt thing like you might hear these alt-right types saying, you know, like that. No, you're just exotic. You know, you're just an exotic. You would get
for the same reason that
tons.
white guy can go to Asia.
Yes,
and
exactly.
get a bunch of. And they will all talk about that. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just, wow, you're from another culture, you're exotic, especially if you're American into hip-hop or something like that, and you kind of, like, walk that walk. We know everybody that walks that walk and talks the talk is not a gangster, you know, but it's just cool. You know, it's just cool. That's what all the fucking white guys, all the white soldiers just, you would complain about that. When I was in the army, I was like, well, I don't know, I'm going to hang out with the black dudes. That's where all the hot chicks are. Don't, suck
That's where the
up.
women's at.
That's where the girls are at. They're your brothers anyway. Who cares? Let's do this. Yeah, but no, you don't want to lose. You don't want to go home alone. I'm gonna take that chance. You know, it happens. Sometimes you don't win for a weekend. That's a big thing over here on the weekend. If you don't pull, but the guys that were afraid to, like when I came back and they were like, you didn't pull this weekend. I was like, nope. Right, and then you get laughed at. Right, and then that like initiation is done. But what happens is some guys are so afraid of that they don't go out or they don't take any chances. Yeah, and then nothing happens.
That's those guys from earlier who just decide they're going to go to jail at 16.
Yeah, I guess so. But these guys, I mean, they
just don't try.
You don't want sex? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, what are you doing over here? You took shore leave to play dominoes? What are you doing?
I heard a guy, maybe Tennessee Marine would identify with this. I heard a guy say. He was actually married. He's a Southern guy, and he was married to a female soldier, right? And he stayed here a month, and he says, I can't take it. Nobody speaks English.
First
of all, they do, right? But they didn't have a Waffle House, and they didn't have a this and a that, and he just couldn't live that way. He couldn't
handle it.
I miss New York pizza so much. I think about it and dream about it. I'm not exaggerating, right? But it's a sacrifice. You know, there's a lot of other shit that if I left here, I would really miss. You know,
it is the trade-off.
It is the trade-off, sir. Listen, this is a great conversation, but I'm gonna go hang out with the family because I'm not playing much video game. I'm not playing a hell of a
I don't think you ended up kind of tapping out on the. Well, Marvel vs. Capcom ended up working, so there's a great
It did end up working,
there.
but it's a lot of it's all solo, and I'm kind of like. I like to get my ass kicked by guys who know what they're doing for some. I'm a sadist. Yeah, he liked Tennessee Marine. He felt me on that one. Yeah, dude.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. Some guys just can't. And it has nothing to do. I wasn't taking a shot at Southerners, by the way. You could be from the North and be like that too. But
just the homesick will get you.
Yeah, it can. I mean, yeah, it's a weird thing. Tonka, it's been a great interview. I might even repackage this in some way.
This has been a good time, yeah.
All the best to you. Anybody that's on here, check out the Kumite. It's on Candy Bam's channel right now. It's especially in North America. It's like it's a morning talk show in some sense. They talk about a lot of things about anything from politics to anti-SJW issues to internet stuff. Tonka is an interesting guy to have on simply because he's not I wouldn't call you a normie, but you don't have your foot 100% in the door.
I'm pretty normie.
You're pretty.
I'm pretty
normie. Oh, you're happy being called a normie. I was afraid.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
You're okay with it? But, I mean, he knows what's going on and gives a unique and interesting perspective on it. So please check out Candy Bam's channel for the morning Kumite. Type it up. I'm sorry I don't have it in there. Tonka, it's been great talking to you, and I'm gonna.
It's a good time.
I'm gonna say we'll definitely have you on again. All right.
All right, man.
Maybe on the main channel. On the main channel. And you guys.
Yeah, I'd enjoy it. I'd enjoy it.
All right, enjoy it. And yeah, give a say hello to Still Gray there for me because
yeah, I will let you know. Let Tobes know that we finally talked so that he could calm the hell down.
He was the one guy that was hitting me over the head during the whole war thing. He was like, you got this wrong. Nah, he's running with Nazis. Man, screw him. Let him go to hell. I mean, it's just a bad time. Glad we got over it.
I am too.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy, Tommy.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for sticking around. It wasn't much of a stream, but I think it was sometimes you gotta let shit roll. You gotta let some things roll, and if something cool happens, just let it slide. I do. Obviously, me and Tonka are pretty good right now. I like it better than not being good. I think it might be a situation like the Nick Cash thing. I mean, maybe I got off the wrong foot because everybody's protecting their ego, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it was pretty good. Oh, there he is. Yeah. All right. Well, we got it straightened out. There's one I didn't think would ever get straightened out. But I've been perfectly honest. Me and Tonka have been talking a little offline for the past 2 or 3 months now, and I think we're both in a cool place. And he has some unique perspective, and he's a sports guy, so that's always cool with me. Thanks so much for being a part of the stream, everybody. I'll see you around real soon. You might even see me on tonight. Depends how nice my wife is to me.
Ready, aim, fire.